Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, guys and girls. Another Sunday, another show. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. Now, I already said that once. Many people ask me, what is this United States.FM network? Now I tell you. United States.FM is a website. It's my website. www.unitedstates.fm. But more important, it's a network of other websites like-minded. Could be your website, could be any website. If you have a website, and if you believe in what I'm trying to do here, I have a platform for freedom of speech, where I take no side but the truth, or at least what I think in good faith is the truth. Don't get me wrong, I make mistakes too, okay? But at least I try my best. I'm here, I don't want to pander for anybody else but the truth, and of course I believe in the foundation of the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the U.S. Constitution, and in sovereignty of a nation, America. That's where my beliefs. So, if you believe in what I believe, even if sometimes we have disagreement, doesn't matter, but we have the common, let's say, beliefs together, and you have a website, I would like to give you the opportunity and also the help, ask you for the help to share my show. I will send you a link that you can post on your website, and you going to have lifetime my show rebroadcast every time people open your website, opens the website. So that's the idea. And I have, by the way, many more websites, many websites that are joining. So that's beautiful. It's an independent network of multimedia websites that rebroadcast the show. Simple as that. And then, of course, you have 1340 AM, KTOX, that I really want to thank, by the way. And I want to spend 2 seconds here. I know it's been a new ownership the last year or so, and there's been some changes, some criticism. But at least the point is, at the end of the day, this is still a private business. If tomorrow the owner tells me, by the way, Luca, I don't like what you're doing, doesn't need to give me any explanation. This is his toy. He puts the gas at the end of the month, and he decides what he wants to do. No hard feelings. Seriously. I have no right to even bitch about it, because this is his toy. At the end of the month, he puts gas. I may have agreement or disagreement with him. I don't know. That's not even the point. I know that I don't work for him. I do my own show, and he allows me to syndicate the show through the station, and I appreciate it. Now, one thing I want to tell you, though. I am pretty controversial, as you know. I talk about things that probably no many other commercial stations in the area, or forget about the area, in the state, for sure, even can think. You think, can we think about the private Federal Reserve like we do? About the corruptions, about the alleged corruptions, about anybody? I can come here on the show and talk about a potential state senator, like State Representative Sonny Borrelli, the things I say. And I'm not trying to get against him. I have nothing personal against him. I just tell you things that from a professional point of view, this is not anything against anybody personal. When I come on the show, I have no personal agenda. I don't hate anybody. Sometimes I have some of these people that I may also be a little harsh. I like them as a people, as persons. But as politicians, I have my duty as a member of, I don't even want to call myself a journalist, because I am not a journalist. I'm a commentator. But I tell you what I think. And if you are here on the public, let's say, though, you're working for the public with our tax dollar, well, I will tell you what I think for sure, regardless if we are friends or not. That's the bottom line. So I was saying this because I really believe, regardless the change, at least for me, the fact that I'm still on the air, and I've been talking about the last year and a half about very controversial things, seriously. By the way, I'm getting close to my anniversary, almost 3 years on the air. I cannot believe it. I can't believe it myself. So that's what I'm saying. This is a very interesting format. Anything goes. You can talk about anything you want. I show it to you. A few weeks ago, I had this lady from Havasu. She's a great lady, you know, but she was making fun about some things about me, and she did a great, let's say, satirical YouTube. And I wasn't trying to shut her down just because some people may look at this like offensive. That's called freedom of speech. I'm on the air. I'm ready to take it. If you have something you want to say about me, of course, keep families away. We have only one rule. We comply, two rules. We comply with the FCC, so we don't cuss, we don't say anything worse that we can be fined, because this station is still under FCC control, or at least, regulations. And number 2, families, stay out. We have some honor here. If you want to fight with each other in the arena of the ideas, we can fight to death. And I'm talking about in the arenas of the ideas. But we always keep family members out. So don't touch my mom, and I will be very civil with you. Otherwise, you will see another side of me. All right. Now, let's go back to interesting news. I always like when I see the underdog, I think that's the way you say in English, guys, that fights against the establishment, regardless the odds. I love the idea that in Moave County we had great elections, even with, of course, not the results I was hoping. In many cases, for example, supervisor level and state level, but regardless, we had fresh new blood with not many resources, honestly, behind, but still standing up, try to fight the establishment, the corruption, in my opinion, and the status quo. So that's, for me, really where the peaceful revolution starts, when the regular people will do exceptional things. And I'm not going to more cry over it. No, it's time to do it, because nobody else is going to do it but you. Now, I had on my show several times a gentleman from California that probably has been one of my first listeners 3 years ago, and he will tell you. And I tell you, I never thought that I would be so sympathetic with a Democrat. Because this man is not a Democrat. This man is an American first. And then the party comes after. And that's why I respect people. If you're a Republican, or if you're a Democrat, you always should bring, or libertarian, you should always bring the truth and honor, and more important, America first, not your party. And that's the people I really like and support. Even, of course, on this show, I don't support anybody officially. I will give everybody the opportunity to do it. But I tell you, between me and you, yes, I like Ronald. Even sometimes we have our little differences, even of economics or some social things, social programs. I'm more of a libertarian, he's more of whatever, but I don't care. I respect Ronald. Ronald-J-Odonnell is running for the California State Senate. And I can't believe it. A miracle. He won the primaries against the other guy, the big guy of his own party. And there's a lot of drama going on still. And I had him a few weeks ago, and many things are happening meanwhile. And I wanted to have him back because he has some breaking news. Ronald, are you there?
Yes, I am, Zanna.
Okay, man.
It's such a great opportunity again to speak with you.
You are really, I think, one of my first listeners, I must tell you. Is it true? Hey, Ronald, are you there?
Yeah, I was looking on my page, and I saw that today is the 2nd anniversary of my first show with you, to the date.
Wow.
On 2014.
Wow. And, yes.
And we were talking about bank fraud then.
Yes.
And 2 years later, we're going to talk about bank fraud today.
Yes. And also now, you have great chances. I mean, you won the primaries in your party to be probably maybe, or hopefully I say, the next California state senator for your district. In which district are you running for?
Well, this is District 23, which is the desert, Riverside County, San Bernardino counties. They go from Big Bear to Lake Arrowhead to Lake Elsinore to Hemet to Corona to Fontana to Rialto, San Bernardino, Redlands, Yucaipa. I almost have them off by heart by now because I've been to every district.
Wow. And you find, this is, you have a fresh shot here because you made it the primaries against the opponent that was pretty much the chosen by the party. And
he was anointed. He was anointed by the Democrats.
And let's remind how much you had as your war chest fund for your elections. How much money did you have?
Oh my God, I was loaded. I had, I think, $500 at the time.
500 what? $1,000?
No, $500. I don't have that many zeros in my pocket.
So $500. You won the primaries against the opponent that had, for sure. How much you think? I mean, since there are public records, how much he had in his pocket?
Well, I'm not sure how much money he had, but he had the entire Democratic machine behind him.
Wow.
And there's no amount of money you can put on that when they're talking him up and promoting him through. He's a radio station general manager.
Wow.
He's the vice chair of the Democratic Party here. So he had all that going for him. And I beat him 2-1. I got 51,000 votes.
Wow.
He only got 26,000.
Oh my God, this is hurt. That really hurts. It must.
That was ouch.
That's ouch. I mean, it's more. I mean, I would feel very bad as a human being after, especially the way they treated you. Because it's not just having a fair, let's say, elections. Let the best man or woman win. Now they really hated you. They did some dirty tricks. And I tell you, for what you tell me at least, what you told me, and then to have these results when no money can buy at that point, and normally money, I tell you, can brainwash a lot of people out there, but they couldn't do it with you. I mean, that was amazing.
I think I'm the only one in the entire state that pulled this off.
Yeah.
Honest. I've been trying to find anyone else that was able to do it, and I mean in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
No. Not just, this election. I mean, ever.
And what exactly is the fact that they hated you so much, in your opinion? Why the Democratic Party is afraid of you?
Because I will not follow the party line, especially when it comes to this issue of illegal foreclosures and bank fraud. I spoke up about the Muslims killing 26 people in San Bernardino and wounding another 10. No one else was allowed to talk about it because they didn't want to be offensive. Now, I said these guys were under surveillance by the FBI for 3 years. 3 years. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, okay, because I think we had someone listening in. The echo just went away.
Oh, I'm sure somebody else is listening too, by the way. Now we will talk about that. I have some strange clicks. Go ahead. Let's finish. Now I can ask you something. Go ahead.
But here's what my point is, and I've been trying to say, and you were one of the, I think you're the only show that let me talk about it. Well, that's true. You are the only one. That's why I respect you and KTOX deeply. It's because for 3 years, the FBI knew that these people were planning something. There was a third party involved. He was a Hispanic guy, their best friend. They found weapons, and I mean, when I'm saying weapons, I mean to say bombs, okay? Homemade bombs, what do they call them, IEDs? He had them in his house. He had them, the guy in the third party that wasn't there, he had them. And everybody knew it, but no one told anyone. I mean, somebody should have said something. And they'll say anything else, but we're not allowed to be offensive because it would look like we're, offending the Muslim community. They just built a new multi-million-dollar mosque here, And the only restriction on them was that they were not allowed to do their broadcasts like they do in the Middle East, with the loudspeakers at prayer time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, everything else pretty much falls in line. And you see all these, Muslim people, that are coming over to this country. They're on welfare. They have 5 wives. We pay for all the wives. We give them a free house. We give them food stamps for them and their family and all their wives' families. They don't have a job. They pray all day. And we have to support them. And now they want to bring another 700,000 into this country. Thank you, Hillary Clinton.
So you are. Let me something because I read a post on your Facebook. Pretty breaking news, in my opinion, because you, after all, you're a registered Democrat running for the Democratic Party, California State Senate. So that's your party. But tell me about this breaking news. Are you going to vote for Hillary or not?
Well, I announced publicly that I'm not going to vote for Hillary, that I'm going to vote for Donald Trump.
Wow.
And that's a Republican, if I recall. But it isn't because of the Democratic or party loyalty. I am very loyal to the Democratic Party, so much that I can't vote for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. You know, and
that's how much I care about being a good Democrat.
I agree. You know, this is exactly what I beg everybody out there. If you're a Republican or if you're a Democrat, you cannot fall for these traps. For example, if you're a Republican now and you know that McCain is a pure scam,
Yep.
I mean, seriously, I mean, you were supporting the other candidate that, supposed to be better than McCain. At least he didn't have a chance to do all the damages that McCain has been doing the last 30 years. And all these people, they've been denouncing McCain, said the right things finally. You know, I've been saying these things probably at least 7 years ago, at least. And now people finally see it. But now, because the party machine says, this is our man, he's going to be better than the other one, guess what? How can you go out there and drink that Kool-Aid and vote for the piece of garbage called Senator McCain? Seriously.
Well, and on that note, I just want your listeners to know this, because this is the truth. I was never involved in politics. I didn't know how the game worked. I didn't know anything. I'm 65 years old. I only jumped into this state Senate race because of the issue of illegal foreclosures, the issues of bank fraud. No one's talking about it, even on a national scale. No one's talking about it. But I want to remind you, you just said something that's incorrect, Zanna. You said that no one knew that McCain was a crook and was, nefarious. And I'm here to tell you, remember the Keating 7.
Mm-hmm.
The Silverado Savings and Loan. Jeb Bush's brother,
mm-hmm.
Neil Bush, had to sign a statement when that savings and loan collapsed. Remember that governor went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Neil Bush signed a plea bargain because his dad was the head of the CIA and at that time the president of the United States. And John McCain was part of the Keating 7.
Yeah.
And that was the failure of Silverado Savings and Loan back in the 80s. So we've always known that, but the party doesn't want you to say that.
Yeah.
To the Republicans, remember?
Yeah, and this is just one of the many things. I mean, this is not just like, oh my gosh.
Over and over
on
and
every
over.
aspect.
The lies are incredible.
Yeah, I mean, and then people, whatever. This is just the point I was making, not because I want to talk now about McCain. We were talking about Hillary, but it's the same story. How can you go out there as an American? I don't care which party you are, even if you're a Democrat, after you know that the party, the high level of the party, they completely corrupted your primaries. They treat you like a bunch of kids, a bunch of idiots. You got the proofs.
And then Bernie sells out at the Democratic National Committee election and just withdraws mysteriously.
Yes.
And leaves like 20 million followers.
Yeah.
Just standing there with their jaws dropped
after
he collected $100 million and he bragged $26 a donation.
Yeah.
He never asked those 20 million people for permission to withdraw. He didn't. How could you do that and let your own people down like that? That did the rallies for him and did all the work for him. He didn't do anything. He just got up there and talked. How many hundreds and maybe thousands of people poured their hearts out for him?
Exactly.
And believed in him because of the promises that he made. And then within a day, he endorses Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
How much did he get paid for that?
Or maybe he was threatened, but regardless, the point is, as an American...
Well, it's either silver or lead.
Or maybe both. That's normally what the mafia does. They give you the offer you cannot refuse. Exactly. And by the way, did you hear about that top attorney in the DNC fraud case is dead? There was it was an attorney who supported Senator Bernie Sanders, and he was suing for all this sort of irregularity. He was suing against, Debbie Wasserman Schultz,
Yeah.
And the DNC. And
he worked for a law firm. Mm-hmm. He was not the attorney that wrote the documents. He was the process server that had the guts to go into the Democratic headquarters and deliver it.
Yes, you got served. And how did he die, this man? I'm just curious. I mean, I read something about it, but if mysteriously died after he served the DNC.
Found him face floor in a bathroom.
Wow. So
public bathroom floor.
Yeah, I mean, everything's possible. Of course, there are a lot of coincidences, but regardless, let's look at the facts. And
well, wait, Zanna, we're counting, and he's number 164 so far.
Oh, my God.
So you know that's not news.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not laughing because it's funny. This is a serious matter.
I know. The number's incredible.
And I tell you, I'm nobody. I'm here on this little local radio show. Even, of course, we have more and more listeners on the Internet than ever. But I tell you, this is not a game. And what you're doing, it is not a game. You may create exactly the ripple effect of what they're really fearing. It's regular people like you getting involved into the system, becoming part of the machine, regardless if you're Democrat or Republican or whatever. But you want to do it through that process. And then when people finally realize that you're a real person, you don't take orders from top, but you take orders from your consciousness, And at that point, they're afraid because you are having now a chance that people are listening to you and they may start to follow you and support you. You may also win. You're going to shake them out. And they're afraid. That's why I really believe you got to really watch yourself a little bit because you are a very bad president. I also believe that, for example, every time I talk to you, especially for our conversations, my phone lines start to get kind of weird. And then I hear beeps. And then I hear different things. Tell me a little bit what happened, because I don't want to be into conspiracies, but I know that something may be going on. What did you find out? You've been hacked a few times since we talked, right?
Okay. For your listening audience, I want to just recap.
Mm-hmm.
The first show we ever did, I was suing Chase Bank for credit cards, credit card fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Because I realized early on that the fraud that they were doing using the credit cards, they were never caught, so they extended it to their home loan program.
Mm.
So the home loan fraud is not some new business technology they discovered. They had been using it with credit cards since the 1990s. I caught them. As a result of that lawsuit, I've never gotten my dime yet, but they halted 600,000 credit card collection cases.
Wow.
That put a dent in their pocket.
Yeah.
So that relieved 600,000 people across the country from being defrauded. Not one word in the news.
Wow.
Hey, and I have something for you today. Mm. You'll like this. It was on CNN. And it was the federal regulators said Wells Fargo employees secretly created millions of unauthorized bank and credit card accounts without the customer's consent.
Wow, that's huge.
Only since 2011.
Wow.
Now, this is on CNN, but it's not on their news channel. It's on their money blog. And here's what it says. I'm reading it. I'm going to send it to you.
Yes.
Wells Fargo confirmed to CNN Money that it had fired 5,300 employees over the last few years related to the shady behavior. Did you hear that?
Yes.
5,300 employees have been fired over the last couple years since I started my campaign here.
Yeah.
No wonder they hate me.
Yeah.
No wonder my phone's tapped. No wonder my computer's hacked. No wonder my printer's on the cloud somewhere that I never asked for it to be. They even sent me a courtesy iCloud identification number, which I never even requested.
Let's explain that.
Being monitored.
Let's explain one
Your
second.
radio show.
Let's explain the printer. This is something people don't understand. The printer is like his own brain, and it connects to the cloud, and they can find out everything you're printing. Is that correct?
Well, it's worse than that. Even the paper that you buy has a dot on it.
Really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Okay, a micro dot that identifies where you purchased it, what the name of the company was, what the brand is, et cetera, et cetera. It traces you. There's a dot that you can't see. You look at a piece of paper, any sheet, and you'll always see a dot somewhere. I mean, you guys are thinking I'm nuts, but I know what I'm talking about. Look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, employees went so far as to create phony PIN numbers and fake email addresses to enroll customers in online banking services. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau chief said. His name's Cordroy. So it took intervention from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to get this news out, because he made a public statement today. And by the way, this is today's news.
Wow.
And it was only forced out to the public because of Richard Cordray, who when they started the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, I was one of the very first ones supporting him. A lot of people don't know that before he was appointed to be the head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, that actual whole entire concept came from Elizabeth Warren. That's why I had early on supported her, because it was, a workable program, and she designed it. But then she sold out to Hillary.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Look at this. Can you just imagine? Now, this is one bank, Zanna. And for you listening audience, I didn't say a couple hundred accounts. I said 5,300 employees have been fired. I said millions of accounts are out there in your names, folks. If you have a Wells Fargo account, you have another one you don't know about in the cloud.
Wow.
So if you're in Kingman and you have a checking account, you got to write them a letter and say, hey, are there any other accounts with my name on them? And then report it to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau for free. You can do it online for free and make an inquiry. And you can go right online, one paragraph. I'd like Wells Fargo to respond. Did they ever open one of these accounts for me without my permission or consent? Because you've already got to see how that can be hurting your credit score. And there may be that day when someone says, hey, pay up.
Yeah.
And then you get a letter in the mail from a collection agent, a collection attorney saying, hey, you owe $10,000 over here on your Wells Fargo account. You said, that wasn't mine. Oh, bull. You've had it for 10 years.
This is so bad. This is so huge. I mean, I can't hardly believe it.
Today's news. Wells Fargo is being slapped. And why I love it, it's 2 years to the day from our first show together, where I said 2 years ago, today's the 8th, in 2014 on your show, and I have a copy of it, that I was suing Chase Bank for this. And they, stopped the 600,000 cases. Now, 2 years to the date, Zanna, our anniversary. How do you like that?
Yeah.
To the date, now we have Wells Fargo employees, 5,300 fired. And the number's almost the same. It's 565,443 credit card accounts. That's about the same 600,000 as Chase Bank. The only problem is there's 4 other major banks doing this, and we haven't gotten them yet. But for your listening audience, why am I so emphatic about this? Notice it's not on the news. You have to go to Love, Guns, and Freedom show with luca-zanna to hear this kind of news.
Honestly, no. I learned it from you because I didn't know myself, and I'm glad I have you just because of this information. This is so important. I mean, people don't understand. This stuff is not just some gibberish language. This is how they can destroy your life, how can destroy your credit, how legally they can illegally, because technically it's under color of law. But when you are a person, working 9 to 5, how can you fight a machine when you don't even have the money to pay for an attorney to defend yourself? So this
right. We're going to get into that topic in a second. I want to finish this little statement here.
Go ahead.
It says related story. ATM and overdraft fees top $6 billion at the big banks so far this year.
Wow.
That's just 3 of the 6. Do you see how scary this is? Behind your backs, people, there's this activity going on. Now, you want to know why I want to go to Sacramento? why they fear me,
Yeah.
why they hate me, why they tried to get me arrested, not once, twice already.
Yes.
It's because they were trying to stop me. And, of course, I have 60 days left to find out who's going to win. And I'm sure they're going to go ahead and try to stop me doing it again. And they're going to hope to catch me drunk driving. Well, I don't drink. They're going to try to catch me doing something wrong. And I'm going to stay clean as a whistle. So if you hear me dying, no, not Ron. I didn't do that on purpose. I'll be body count 165. I have a list of 164 I'll share with anybody.
Wow.
But I wanted to share something with you folks out there. I have 2 customers in Phoenix, 2 in Kingman area, Lake Havasu, and 2 up in the Sedona area. And I'm only saying that because I want to tell you a situation here. They went down to the legal clinic that's provided by the state of Arizona. And remember, I have to keep them unnamed for their confidentiality. Mm-hmm. Where they were told by the taxpayer paid for legal clinic that they could not defend themselves in court, or if they did, then they can't get any help from anybody because that would be practicing law without a license. That's what was said to them. Mm-hmm. So it shocked them. It put a chilling effect on them being able to, feel the freedom to defend yourself. What I'm saying is that is absolutely a lie. And to prove it, I have, for free, I'm going to pass out to anyone that wants it what is called the United States Circuit Court for the 9th District Pro Se Handbook on how to file an action against someone by yourself without an attorney, and how to defend against a lawsuit by yourself without an attorney. I'm going to give this to, it's about a 78-page blueprint of how the legal system works and what to do and how to serve the process and how to do everything without money.
Do you have a PDF file? Something we can upload?
Yeah, I do. And what I'm going to do, but there's one thing I'm going to make sure that they do. Mm-hmm. They have to buy the $29.99 Zanna coffee package.
No, at least that.
No, that's it. If I see that they bought the package, then send it to me, and it'll go through you, Zanna, and I'll send it to them for free.
Well,
I sell those for about $79.
Wow.
To attorneys.
That's good.
Free if they buy the coffee.
Well, I appreciate
Remember?
it. I appreciate it very much.
Karen said, don't drink the coffee. She has other uses for it.
Listen, speaking about coffee for a moment, just to think a little bit, I appreciate your support. You got the package, the $29.99, 3 bags of coffee. You got the Route 66 coffee. You got the 1776 coffee, and also the straight shot espresso. What did you start so far? What did you open so far?
Well, here's why I'm saying this, people, because we need shows like this all across America, and they cannot exist if there's no money coming in. I think what Zan is doing is supporting his show with coffee sales is commendable. And if you want this information and more, it's free. Just show a little bit of respect and a little bit of help for what you're learning today right here on this show. It doesn't cost you anything but a couple minutes of your time. And order that coffee from Zanna. Make him successful so he can go ahead and move up and do bigger and greater things and get better guests. I mean, he's got some really quality guests now, and he's running on no budget.
Oh, there is no budget. I do it all. And I'm not trying to make a crying baby here, but it's true. For me, this is honestly, it was never a business. It was like let's say an act of love. Try to use some of my spare time to try to do my duty as an American. I try. Sometimes, as I said, doesn't matter if we agree or not. I'm just trying to bring you facts and a platform that we can discuss everything, even things, especially things we don't agree. Maybe we can learn from each other.
Look what we could do if we had some support. Look
exactly.
What I could do. I want to get to Sacramento. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do I want to go up there? It's 65 years old because I have an accounting degree. from a community college. I have a bachelor's degree in economics. I have a doctorate degree in law, and they don't want me to look at their checkbook. And as a state senator, that's where I'm walking.
Very good.
The first place I'm going, I'll be allowed to see the budget, to see the checks that went out, to see who's getting the money, and they don't want me to look at that.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, it's...
That could get catchy. That could get catchy, because if I find something, and I'm sure I will, they are too, they don't want it reported. They don't want anybody to know about that stuff, and they know I'm not the guy they can buy out at 65, because I don't care.
Oh, listen, I'll pray for you.
$1 million.
I pray for you, Ronald, because I tell you, what you're doing, it is, first of all, commendable, but it's not many people has the courage to do it. Many people have the courage to do it because you already crossed the line. The fact now that you are really potential, I mean, look at this. You are now facing a Republican opponent. The primaries are over. You're supposed to have the support of your party behind, and they don't give you anything. They hate you. I mean, they show you how much they're afraid of somebody like you that doesn't want to play game, doesn't want to play ball, doesn't want to follow the orders. But you're thinking with your own brain, with your own heart, with your consciousness, and more important, you say and point out. You don't care anymore what they tell you. If something is black, something is white. If Hillary Clinton is a freaking criminal and she's a traitor, that's a fact. You know, you cannot drink that Kool-Aid and think, oh my God, she's a woman of the people, she's a great leader. No, she's a fraud. She's part of the oligarchy. She's part like the Bush or like the McCain. Whatever it's wrong with America in the last 50, 60 years. That's a fact. So you are finally...
How about this? Let's go one step further.
Yes.
Just today, again, it was announced that, remember the $400 million that was shipped to Iran?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was the 12th installment. It wasn't the only ship or the only plane flight that ever flew in with cash. That was plane ride number 12. And it turns out that there's been a total of over $1.2 billion that has been paid to Iran in the last year, because Obama's doing what? He's going to be out.
Yeah.
So he's taking care of his friends in the Middle East.
I mean, this is a robbery.
And that was without the knowledge of Congress, without the knowledge of any American citizen. He did it by presidential decree. Yeah. He says, to hell with you guys, because nobody will enforce it. America's weak. America's looking down at their iPads. I say, look up at the sky. Look above you. Keep your chin up. Walk like a man. Act like a man. Don't be afraid of these people. Better to be shot standing up than to die on your knees.
Yes, and this is so sad.
Now's the time to do it.
Ronald, let me tell you something. I feel sorry for every Democrat out there that when it was Bush, they were very vocal, and I was there. When I was still a Republican, I was, my God, I couldn't stand the bastard because he was a complete fraud since day one, okay? Not only an idiot, but also was an evil man. So his father, okay? And that's a fact, Mr. New World Order. But now when Obama came to power, he can do things that, my God, if Bush you even dream to think about those things, they don't even want to talk about it. And this is so sad because, as you said, now, just this thing that Obama has been doing, giving more than $1 billion to Iran. This is money, they don't come out of thin air. Yes, they do, because they print them out of thin air. But we, the people...
No. Iran would not accept American currency. We had to give it to them in French currency, Mexican currency,
that's fine.
Spanish currency.
But the point is...
Because they won't accept American currency, why it's traceable.
Yes, and also because it was illegal.
No accountability.
Was illegal, technically. But more important, we are still here paying the credit card one day, and this is going to be on us. And this is just a little bit of a drop in the ocean, what this man has been doing in the last 8 years. I mean, right now we are almost $20 trillion in debt, without counting the interest. And this money...
It'll never be paid back.
Never.
Everybody knows it. Start getting your food supplies. Start getting your ammunition. Start getting your tires for your car.
Yeah.
Start stashing away a little bit of cash, folks. I won't be surprised if it doesn't happen at election time.
Something's happening. Now, listen, talking about election, you are 60 days ahead for the final sprint. Any feedback from your opponent? First of all, let's say the name. What is the name of the Republican opponent you're facing?
I don't like saying his name because I don't like to give him free publicity.
But you know what?
But his name is Mike Morrell.
Yeah, this is, for me, honestly, it's better because I tell you.
Yeah, that's his name. I know. I'm teasing.
Everybody's going to know it. And I say, by the way, if he's listening to the show, I want him on the show. I would love to have you both on the show. For me, this is an opportunity to give all of you, the listeners, to make an accurate decision. As much as, of course, I have my own personal respect for you, I don't endorse anybody here. All I want to give you, the listeners, the opportunity to have the information to make the most accurate decision. That's all I want to do.
By the way, Mike Morrell is on the State of California Senate and Banking and Finance Committee hearings. Mm-hmm. He's the chair, and I would be replacing him. And then I would be on the Banking and Finance Committee and replace, him and look at those books. He knows what I'm saying, but he can't say it. He's not allowed to say it. I met Mike, and I looked him right in the eye. I said, you have a beautiful family. You're a gentleman. I said, there's not anything I can say. I will never say anything negative about you as a person because I like you. I said, but I just totally disagree with you on everything you're doing. I don't think you're looking out for the United States of America first. You're looking out for whoever, your banking interest. And you have $1.5 million, and you're not allowed to go ahead and talk against the bank. So someone has to, and that would be me.
Yeah. No, this is
now.
serious.
By the way, this announcement today: Wells Fargo is being slapped with the largest penalty since the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was founded in 2011.
Wow.
The bank agreed to pay $185 million in fines, along with $5 million refund to these ghost customers. We regret and take responsibility for any instances where customers may have received I'm scrolling down and I went down too far.
That's okay.
They're just. What I'm looking to see is, because my motto is jail the banksters. Mm-hmm. See, I think that when you commit fraud and forgery, and especially financial fraud, you need to do jail time. See, I don't mind 5,300 people getting fired, okay? I think 5,300 people should have done, a little bit of time to show them what the inside of these places look like when you defraud a customer. How do you teach them if they never suffered any consequences? Well, they lost their jobs.
Yeah.
But, other than that, there's a little bit further that needs to go with those 5,300 people. But they get to take the walk. You go down and steal a pack of cigarettes from the local grocery store, 7-Eleven, you got 6 months, buddy.
Yeah, it is true.
Just for stealing a pack of cigarettes or grabbing a 6-pack of beer and trying to hand out the door.
Yeah.
You're going to jail for a year for that.
Yeah.
Now, I go and I commit felony, forgery, create false credit card accounts in your name. I go ahead and I use them, and I go ahead and what I'm doing is I'm leaning your credit card information so that I can obtain credit, okay, individually, personally. That's identification fraud. That's 10 years. Not one of these people got any time. And now you see why I'm so adamant about, pursuing this. Because it's not going to stop if no one's held accountable.
Ronald,
somebody's got to go to jail. Somebody's got to pay for these crimes.
And this is exactly why also I think what you're doing is very important. You stepping out, leading the way, exposing Hillary, because that's another example that we are not anymore under the rule of law, but the laws are selectively enforced just for the slaves. Whatever they are, the bankers or this political elite, they are pretty much laughing at us. They can do whatever they want, and this is wrong.
Watch this, Santa. Watch this. Hillary raised $240 million in the last 4 years from the Middle East mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden there's these shipments of money going in foreign currency into the Middle East, okay? And it all was around that word Benghazi, 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 Benghazi. which was not where the embassy is in that country, Libya. It actually is in Tripoli. Benghazi was a weapons depot. What was the ambassador doing at the weapons depot 90 miles away on that given night?
Yeah.
Doing a weapons exchange maybe for cash. So what I'm saying to you, the 30 missing emails that Miss Clinton just discovered 3 days ago, oh my God, she said she turned them all in. We're all related to Benghazi.
Yes.
The FBI, the CIA, the FBI, the Justice Department won't release them until after the election. Why? Because then they got another 8 years of continuing this circus and party that they have called Let's Drain the Swamp. And the name of the swamp is the United States Treasury.
Yes.
No. And this is serious. We cannot afford another day of this. This country in 8 years will be over. It'll be dissolved, and there'll be martial law in the streets. Will look like Venezuela.
Yes.
Now, you think I want to see that for my children and grandchildren? No.
No. That's why
I'm going to go in there, and I'm not quitting, and I'm asking your people to join me any way they can. If they don't have any money, just take your show, this show, and pass it on all across the country.
Yes.
Tell your friends know. Just say, here's what's going on in California. It's a battle, and it's real.
Yes, and that's why I commend you. And you are the example what I always was hoping in the American people to stop following the orders from any party, but start to stand up for the principles of honesty, of truth, and more important, against corruption. That's it.
Well, if they buy your coffee, if they buy Zanna's coffee, the 3 packages for $29.99, I want you to describe what it is. Not only am I going to give them the instructions that were approved by the United States Circuit Court 9th District, which is for, let me tell you who it's for, the citizens of California, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, and Utah. That's the 9th District. There's no one higher than them than the United States Supreme Court.
Wow.
And this is their instructions as a gift to the people in the 9th District. It was written by law professors. It was approved by the Supreme Court, and no one knows about it.
Interesting.
Well, I'm going to give it to anyone if you buy the copy at Zanna's, and I'm going to throw in something else, too.
Wow.
A complimentary copy of the United States Constitution, and the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. First Amendment is the right for me to talk on this show, and for Zanna to talk to me.
Yes.
And to tell the public what we're saying. And the Second Amendment is the right to have a gun, so that if someone comes after me, I shoot them because I don't have to die needlessly. I'm not going down without a fight.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going on my knees.
Listen, Ronald.
So if you want to come kill me, get ready.
Listen to me.
I've got friends, too.
Listen to me. I want to give everybody the opportunity to contact you. Please give again your website or Facebook or phone number, whatever people can do. This is serious, guys. I don't care if you're in Arizona or in Nevada or in California,
Washington,
of course, even better.
Or Oregon. Or
yeah.
I have honestly now I have people in New York, Florida, Maryland, Pennsylvania, all over the country, Indiana. I'm going on a radio show in Chicago.
Wow.
They called me. I didn't call them.
Wow.
They heard it somewhere through the grapevine, I guess, your show.
That's great. Because
but,
this is how we fight.
You know,
we get America back. We show him that we unite as Americans. And what we unite for freedom. We unite for honesty. We unite against corruption. And we break the barriers of the party. That's exactly how they keep us separate and they can control us. So never follow the orders from any party. And especially follow your heart, follow your consciousness. And when we find somebody like Ronald-J-Odonnell that is trying to do the right thing, even if he lives in another state, that's how we're going to send a message. And we send, let's say, a dagger in the heart of the monster. We need to help each other, even if people are from other states. Or at least we should do that. Please give the website or anything where we can contact you.
You can find out my contact information by contacting, all one word, Foreclosure Ammunition, make sure you get the spelling right, .com. And that's all you have to do is look it up. I have 12 free videos there for you to see. They're about half hour. And then there's my workbook and things that I sell to in order to support myself in this endeavor for the last 4 years.
Wow.
And you don't have to buy anything, but the videos, I would hope that you'd look at them and try to educate yourself a little bit.
And also,
about this topic, because this is going to be it, folks. Watch your 401ks next also.
Yeah.
And do not buy gold and silver. They keep telling you to, but here's what I tell everybody. Okay, I got a $10,000 silver bar, okay? Now I'm out of gas, and I go to the gas station, and we're having problems. And I say, here's my $10,000 bar. That's all I got. Guy says, okay, I'll fill you up. And he said, well, what about the change? I said, we don't have any change. We'll hold it for you. How's that? You can come in and get gas anytime you want. Then they close down.
You can buy coins.
Problem.
You can also buy 1 ounce coins. I mean, that's another way to honestly.
Yeah.
I like silver and
you know
coins.
what? I'm going to tell you what I'm doing.
Yes.
Every time I go to the store, here's my secret. You know, if I'm afraid to even say this because this could really be a problem.
And don't say things that you don't want to
country.
say, okay? Because I don't want to put you also too much information about your things. I don't want to say that the people, they may know who you are. All I want to say is this: go to lovegunsfreedom.com. There is a link, a little bit of a billboard I put down there to directly link into Ronald O'Donnell website, o'donnellforcalifornia.com. I'm not endorsing him. I'm not saying anything, but I tell you, he makes the news. And I want to share his news. He's a man standing against the corruption of his own party, and he gets all my support. And every way I can do it, that's a fact. I'm not shy about that. Ronald, I want to thank you again. Times, we're almost out. And I want to give you the last 60 seconds to close whatever you want to say.
All right, I have a quote from, I believe it was Jesus Christ, when he said, "My people perish for lack of knowledge," 2,000 years ago. That hit me hard. I'm a Christian, former Catholic, but I remembered some of his teachings. So what is he saying with that to all of us is educate yourself, people. Go ahead and pick up the information you need to defend yourself. You can learn law. You can talk about law. It's not practicing law without a license to help your father keep his house. I had one of those already. The son is threatened by the trustee for standing up and talking to the judge because he's not an attorney. He said, "No, I know. I'm his son. It's my duty under the name of God to protect my father and my mother." That comes first.
Yes.
Then comes, I'm an American citizen, and then comes whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, I don't care what you are.
Very good.
Just remember, Jesus Christ's own words, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." You are under a duty to educate yourself. You're under a duty to educate your children. You're under a duty, by God, to educate the people around you, to make their lives better in any way that you can. And if you're ignorant and you don't know the law, you're going to jail.
Yeah,
Or
and
you're going to pay the ransom to some attorney to keep you out of jail.
And also, if
you're going to lose your house.
If you do not know your rights, you have no rights. That's the bottom line.
Right. And don't give up the First Amendment and the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution.
And all the other amendments.
Doing.
All the other amendments we need to fight for. Listen,
Right.
Another thing I want to tell you, now you are 60 days before the final days of the campaign, the deadline. Any special event, any special thing you're going to do to try to maybe, try to reach out to the Democrats out there? How can you reach out?
What I've been doing is planning on hitting the news media with some very serious ads saying what you and I are talking about for 2 years, and I have to do it in a quarter page, full color, and that's going to be it.
How much?
And I'm going to ask people to make the choice in their head, what they want for their future. If they like what's going on, don't vote for me. If you want to lose your 401k, because that's going to be the bank buy-ins now, that's where they're looking next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The housing market, they pretty much clobbered it. Now that the only thing left is, that big 401k pension fund, and watch them start taxing it.
Yeah. By the way, in Europe, they already did. That's what they're doing now in many countries. Europe, they are completely as the government controls your retirement. That's the way they also gonna get the rest or whatever it's left of us. Listen, Ronald, thank you very much. I just pray. All I can say, pray that the American people and the people of the state of California, at least in your district, they will think with their own brain, and they will not follow any party. That's the bottom line. And at the end, you're doing your best. No matter what, I'm always proud of you. That's all I can say. Listen, guys, as I said, this show, it is an act of love, but still, time and energy, and also time that I take from other things I do for a living. I work for a living, I create things, and it takes time. A time that I also take away from my family, from my life. And as Ronald was saying, I do it pretty much by myself, everything. Finding the guests, producing it, recording it, editing it, uploading it, promoting it, everything. Takes me a lot of time. And time is money.
One thing, Zanna. I was going to say this and I forgot.
Sorry, go ahead. We have 60 seconds.
Please, thank you. I just forgot. Because while I have the chance, I want to find a lot. Anybody got a lot that I can buy, that I can go ahead and start building a house on in Arizona? Let me know.
Well, we can help you out.
I don't have a lot of money, but I'd like to get a couple acres.
Okay.
Like 3 or 4 acres.
You're talking to the right person here. I got some acres, some land. I can show it to you. You need to come here. I'll show you in person, okay?
I'll be on my way this weekend.
Oh, you know
I really do. I'm going to plan to get a place out there anyway, no matter what I do.
Very good.
State senator or not.
Excellent. Let's be in touch then after the show. Listen, as I was saying, guys, please go to lovegunsfreedom.com. You can find the website of Ronald O'Donnell. You can find information. Also, you can find a way you can support this show. As I said, there are different ways. One way you can do it, there is zannacoffee.com. Go to www.zannacoffee.com. There is a special. You can get the 3 bags of different blends, the 1776 Coffee to Brew a Revolution, the Route 66 coffee, and of course the Straight Shot Espresso, all beans, organic, GMO-free coffee. It is a special going on for $29. And not only you get great coffee that you would drink anyway, you also support this operation. Thank you very much. Now, ready for our number 2. We have incredible, great news. I always try to bring you productive and practical things to try to learn, to try to improve ourselves. So don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom, and then we have a final hour, very interesting final hour, something that you may love. There is a way you can make a living if you have a little bit of time and experience. It's called prospecting gold. Especially in this part of Arizona, you can find a way to also pay some bills and be free. So don't miss the show. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna. Ready for our number 2 and then incredible hour number 3. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna on United States .fm network. Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States .fm network. Second hour, it is all about guns, but more than guns, mindset, training, and real-life experience. And maybe also a little bit of politics. Why not? I tell you, I really enjoy and appreciate the opportunity to be on the air, especially to produce the show, because they gave me the opportunity, it's giving me the opportunity to meet the most interesting humanity out there. Something normally, you really don't meet every day at Walmart or at the grocery stop. I mean, yes, you may meet them, but doesn't mean that you start to interact with them. So I'm excited because it's so much to learn, not just from the tactical point of view, but also from the humanity. I mean, we all go through different journey and we all have different experiences. Sometimes you think, your daily life, it's a tough life. Okay, I understand. You got bills to pay, a wife to take care, maybe more than one. That's fine. But think about some other parts of the world. They wake up in the morning and they don't even know really if what they're going to do for lunch. I mean, they're going to be alive or not. Okay. Anyway, of course, the line already ringing, but let me bring somebody here that is going to be pretty much on my show today. His name is Trinity from somewhere in Arizona. Trinity.
Good morning.
How you doing, Trinity? Introduce yourself, please.
My name's Trinity. I'm part of a Christian church-based unit that has been helping the Kurdish Peshmerga for the last 2 years, and we're trying to bring awareness to their plight.
This is pretty interesting because, you're from my own state. We live in Arizona. But I found you through Facebook, and that's interesting. And then out of the blue, I started to realize that when you were chatting with me on Facebook, at least a few days ago, you were in some other part of the world. You were all the way exactly where? Which part of the Middle East?
We were near Kurdistan.
Kurdistan.
Near the Turkish border.
Wow. And that's a long way. I mean, I don't think there's some special agency, a travel agency organizing trips like, let's go to Kurdistan. Okay, and you're going to have and on top, not only you go there, I mean, you're going to get shot at just as you land. Okay, it's kind of interesting. Probably would be a nice business idea. People likes to have some sort of a different type of vacation. That would be a thrill. But anyway, how did you find out that you could even reach this part of the world? It's not exactly a direct Phoenix to Kurdistan, right?
No, there's not. I have friends that were embedded with the YPG and fighting with them, and I got in contact with them, and they helped me get to where I needed to go.
Okay, so there are different routes because, as I said, there is not direct line, New York, Kurdistan, first class. There are probably different ways.
Yeah, not really. I mean, we're even having issues with people who are trying to come home, American citizens that went out there to fight.
Yeah.
And they're finding out now they can't even return to the USA, so I was very lucky.
Okay, let's go a little bit. I want to start from the beginning. First of all, when you go down there exactly, who are you fighting exactly?
We're fighting ISIS. They're horrible people. They kill people indiscriminately out there. I don't know what I can say on here, but yeah, it's really bad. I mean, the Syrian government's trying to kill the Kurdish. The Turkish government declared them a terrorist organization. And so all these people are trying to kill the Kurds. And the Kurds are the most peace-loving. They're Christian and they're Muslim, but most of the Muslim Kurds have left that religion and went back to their original faith.
Okay. And this is interesting because, after all, many people say, wow, guy, you are from Phoenix, Arizona, and you got probably your family, things to take care. We have a lot of problems here in the U.S. What really motivates you to completely leave everything behind with a lot of, it's not like even you joined the Army, at least you got some sort of retirement plan, or maybe you got insurance, so, you got paid at least, okay? And if they put some hole in you, that somebody's, you have some sort of a medical care. You go there, you may probably pretty much, only God knows what's gonna happen. And all this, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody's gonna pay you when you go there, or you're doing it for free?
No, we volunteer. We like myself, I had friends that were already embedded. And they, once you're there, they give you a host family. Like, you almost have like a foster family.
Okay.
You live with them, you eat with them, they feed you, they pay you when they can. They do, just to have money while you're there, but it's not much.
Yeah.
So you gotta do it for the love of the people, not the money.
Well, that's a pretty, regardless what people may think about it, this is an act of love, in my opinion, because after all, you put your life in jeopardy for any type of personal gain, just because you believe in what you're doing. And of course, according to what you tell me, and then I'll tell you a couple of things. I really believe that, first of all, the threat of Muslim is real. I mean, this is not just today.
Oh.
I mean, let's look the last 700 years. I mean, in Italy, I mean, in Europe, we had them on the gates of Vienna. Okay, and these people, they've been using the sword to conquer and convert. That's the idea. So,
of course.
But my point. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna, go ahead.
No, my point is the religion itself, if you want to call it religion, I call it cult. But the point is unfortunately, is founded on blood and violence. That's a fact. I mean, and this is not an opinion. You got to read their books. I mean, the Quran and the different other parts of their books, and that's exactly what they say. So if you are a good Muslim, unfortunately, it is not really compatible with an open civil society. That's a fact, because there is no like, you know,
it is not.
I mean, look at the Buddhists. The Buddhists, you know, okay, they don't care about you. They mind their business, okay? You don't need to. Nobody was converted to Buddhism with a sword on their throat, okay? And you know, many other religions, you know, I know some religions too. In the past, they had some violence history. You know, you look also at LDS. You know, they had. But at the end of the day, nothing. The last 200 years we had. Compared to what we're going on right now. So my point is another one, though. The reality is, what I look at this, it's like, let's say, the boogeyman, that is real. I believe the boogeyman can be real. You know, the bad, evil guy is there. There are evil people out there. But they are used as pawns by somebody else for some other purposes. For example, you remember the time with Al-Qaeda. You know, there was a document in the 70s that was created by the CIA to destabilize, you know, the idea of the war against the Russians. And then, of course, they lost control and they become Al-Qaeda, and then they be used for other purposes. And the same story, same story with ISIL. And let me play this for you, because, you know, when I post something on your Facebook, you know, I was trying to be a little funny. You know, I said, wow, you're all the way down there in the middle of nowhere to fight these bastards, and that's admirable. But I could save you some gas money, and maybe if you go to Washington, okay?
I remember that.
Pennsylvania Avenue, the ringleader is there. And let me play 1 second this bastard. 1 second. Stay
Moving
there.
too slowly. But the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
Okay, let's say 1 second.
So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province. We're speeding up training of ISIL forces, speeding up training of...
Okay, that's just, you know, and there is much more. I mean, there have been declassified documents from the Pentagon. There have been so much information. It's mainstream now, okay? The fact that we know that part of this administration, or at least this administration, to destabilize that part of the world, especially Syria, they want to remove Assad. They've been creating and propping up ISIS. Then, of course, I don't know if they really lost control or that was part of the plan, but they first prep these bastards up, and then they use the same tax dollar that we spent to prep him up to try to destroy him, but just partially, because they don't want to completely kill him. What do you think? Am I out of lunch, or I got some sort of...
No.
Because you've been there, you know, I don't know. I just see what I can see from here. What is your opinion? What's going on there?
Okay, my opinion is this. There's no such thing as a moderate Muslim. There's not. There's no peaceful Muslim. They have a thing called Sharia law that literally conflicts with the Constitution. We can't have two governments in one country. And that's exactly what they're trying to do by bringing these refugees here. They're trying to turn our country into those crap holes that are over there.
Yeah, and I believe also is a part of, as you said, you know, they create the crisis and then they give us the solution. The solution means more tyranny and more destruction of our Constitution, Bill of Rights. For example.
Oh, exactly.
You know, when you bring here a flood without any type of vetting, and even if there is a vetting, as you said, I'm sorry, if you bring one group only that unfortunately comes with a religious background that is not really integrable with the open society, civil society, I mean, you have a problem because they don't have enough time to assimilate, okay? So let's say you have at least 100,000 refugees, like in Germany right now, more than 100,000 a year they're bringing in. You know that it's a number game. Among the 100,000, all you need to have, let's say 5% that they are completely good, old-fashioned Muslims, that they really believe their book word by word, and their job is to see, are you going to convert, or you're going to put a burqa, or we're going to rape your wife after we cut her throat. That's the bottom line. So, of 100,000 people, even if you get 5% that they are really still living in the Middle Ages, like normally they do, you have at least 5,000 people that they are potentially armed, or at least armed with their mind of terrorists, because they really love to kill. That's what they do best. And and they're going to bring you war in your own country. At that point, think about it. If everything goes out of control, look at the Boston Marathon, okay? For two idiots, okay, or whatever we think they are, because I don't know the whole story. Probably there is more that we didn't know. But just for two people, they put under martial law the whole town. 1 million people, they were kept kidnapped in their homes, and they had to surrender the Fourth Amendment, and that for just two alleged terrorists, okay? Imagine if you have hundreds of them or thousands of them in all over the states. That would be complete martial law. So that's what I think what they're trying to do here. They're trying to have the type of bring the Trojan horse and then let it go out of control, and then they will create the martial law scenario that I think we all concede.
Exactly. See, they want us to trade security for our freedom.
Exactly.
And so they don't mind allowing them to come over here to create that atmosphere.
Exactly.
And then when we're all afraid, they're going to do martial law, and we're going to accept it and say thank you.
Yes.
Which, we're not going to accept it.
I know. but in their mind, the majority of the people, normally that they don't even know how to tie their shoes, they say, yes, please, government, save me, because they believe everything the little box called TV says to them.
Of course.
Now, question is, to go to these type of places, I'm sure that, yes, you must have, first of all, a good heart and probably a lot of love to do what you're doing. But at the same time, you must have some background, because I don't suggest this type of activities. It's not like going to the to the county fair and shooting at the little, balloons. Okay, it's a lifetime experience that you must have some background, I guess, just to try to have the basic skills to make it back. What is your professional background when it comes down to, let's say, conflict zones? I mean, to try to be there and fight an enemy that anyway does have no rules. And what is your background? Do you have any military background?
Well, yeah, I was in the Army from 1995 to 2008. I was in the surge in Iraq. Yeah, I got plenty of background. I was working for academia for a while, which is formerly known as Blackwater. And I really fell in love with the Kurds. I mean, I read an article about a guy named Keith Broomfield. They call him the Lion of Ramadi. He was a Christian guy somewhere here in the USA, and he never even had military experience. He felt God call him to go defend those people. He went there and became like a legend, but he ended up being murdered.
Wow.
And the Peshmerga actually had a real big funeral for him, and they even got his body to his family. And I'm not sure how they did that. But so the love of the people is the main reason. You don't really need a background in the military, but what you can do, I mean, they need help with food, missionary work, just all around help. I mean, you don't have to be a warrior, but you just have to have the love.
Okay. Let's start to see, how was your typical day when you were there in the region? I mean, first of all, you get up in the morning. I'm sure you don't have that Starbucks coffee place around that place. What is your...
No. Actually, Actually, it's really cool.
Tell me.
The people there would feed you, and where we lived, I'm getting a bunch of reverb back.
Okay, let's see why. Let me try to figure it out. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, and from where my host family lived was only 6 miles to the front line, and he had little kids.
Wow, 6 miles.
And you don't have support. You don't have the Army dropping bombs for you. If you get into something, you can't get out of it unless you fight your way out of it.
So the bottom line is every day is a different day. But did you have like some sort of, let's say, leadership tell you what to do? Of course. So what is, for example, your average, day plan? You get up in the morning, you have a little meal, and I'm curious, what do they eat there? Because every culture has a different breakfast, and I don't even know if they call it breakfast.
They eat fruits, fish. I mean, all sorts of stuff. I mean, they're wonderful cooks.
Great. That's interesting. So you have your meal, then you got, first of all, your gear. I mean, I'm curious. This is the hour about guns after all. People say, oh my gosh, you didn't talk about guns yet. We are going there, guys. This is about life now. Probably even more important. So you got, first of all, what type of gear did you have in that environment? Because also you need to always work what type of resupply you can have when it comes down to ammunition.
Believe it or not, man, they sent my church sent us money. They supplied body armor. The weapons we had to acquire from the YPG.
Mm-hmm.
And we went through a little bit of their training and assimilated with their units. And I was in an American YPG unit. We were intermingled. Kurds and Americans, British, Australians are coming over right now. I mean,
wow.
We got tons of people just flocking to help them.
Wow, that's huge. So technically you were facing two fronts, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to be sure I got it. One is the ISIS under the direct, let's say, training of a CIA and Chief Obama, okay? That's one.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have the other,
the
other side, this, let's say, this group of this tribal group that they are also facing let's say, the attack from Syria, correct?
The Turkish government as well, yeah.
Oh, Turkish and Syria. So they're pretty much alone against everybody, I guess. Wow. That's pretty
it's like a four-way fight out there, man.
Wow.
Everybody's fighting everybody.
So, what exactly, this Kurdis, what they want? They want some autonomy? They want some freedom in their own area? What they want to do?
The Kurdish want their own state. They want to be free from tyrannical rule. Okay. They're freedom fighters. That's exactly who they are.
And exactly where they are located now? They are between, they occupying part of Turkish, part of Syria?
And part of Iraq. There's Kurds in Iraq, there's Kurds in Syria and in Turkey.
So they would like to have like a little bit of space that they can say, okay, we don't want to be under Syria, we don't want to be under Iraq, we don't want to be under whatever, leave us alone. Okay, that's pretty much what they're trying to do. And I understand the feeling, you know, this is something that almost comes back to our original revolution, you know, the 1775, 17...
That's exactly what this is.
You know, as I say something before, you know, regardless what people may think or not, if you think about it, that you are going down and putting your life at risk, and also, you know, sometimes life is an easy way out. You know, I always feel sorry for people that come back without a leg or without an eye or maybe without arms, okay? So even worse. All this because at the end of the day, especially when you understand that, you know, you're not a naive guy. You've been there, you know that there has been a lot of fraud and lies that we've been told. And you go there and you know that you're putting your life at risk, fighting also against our own tax dollar that translates almost against our own phony government, because that's, I think, is a very great act of patriotism when you fight at the same time a tyrannical government, also on the other side, helping out other people to try to live. You know, that's interesting, the way I look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead, sir.
No, I was going to ask you another thing. You know, this is something interesting now. As you said before, there are different tasks. You know, you don't need to go there and fight. You can be just maybe a helper, maybe a medical, try to help in every way you can. Like
doctors, nurses.
Exactly. Or maybe, you know, just bring your extra arms and help. Okay, that's great. But coming down to a point of a combat, you know, I think you went there with your background. I don't think you went there to cook pasta for them, okay? Probably you were there to help in different way. Now, what exactly was your role? I mean, you can spell it out. You were there, you were shooting at people, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what are the rule of engagements? I mean, you go in an area, first of all...
There are no rules of engagement. You just kill them.
Yeah, that's it. So,
I mean, you know, you have to kill them. I mean, you know, the Peshmerga, they're very friendly to people. Now, we have had Islamic refugees cross our lines. And they feed them, they help them, they do whatever they can for them. They don't hate the Arabic people. They hate Daesh, you know, and that's Arabic for ISIS.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, it's not like they even hate the Muslims, you know. Well, I mean, they do, you know, because of what they're doing. But the people that are fleeing, they're trying to help as well. You know, so, you know, it's not like they're just, you know, but bad guys that you catch and stuff, it's very hard to keep them. You know, because you got to feed them. It's logistics. It's, you know, you got to watch them 24 hours a day. You know, it's not like where we can take a bunch of prisoners and send them to Gitmo. You know, we don't. There is no Gitmo.
Yeah. You know, that's another story too. By the way, that's another thing that probably you know. I don't know where you stand on that, but you know, it's been also used against us too, because you know, as I said, Gitmo was the first layer of to say, we have no proof, we have no evidence, or maybe we think we have something, but there is no due process, and the government, they just can lock you up forever. They started with them, and I'm sure among them there were many useful idiots that they were doing bad things. But then also you realize that they will also try to brainwash us now that they can do the same thing under the National Defense Authorization Act 2012. Now American people like me and you, we can be suspected to be terrorists and we can turn out a Gitmo.
Oh, of course.
Indefinitely. So that was a warm-up for what's happening now next to us. Now, question is, when you go on the field, let's say, normally you will play in defensive position or offensive position, try to reclaim terrain, or you were trying to defend your areas?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
So, because, I mean, you were infantry. I don't think you had any airplanes there with you, but did you have any type of transportation? What was that? Typical pickup truck?
Pickup trucks. That's it.
That's it. So, no, any type
we
of.
We had a couple technicals with some weapons on them. But I mean, you got to remember, these are just regular folks. Now America is starting to get involved in. I heard that there was American forces on the ground near them, which is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, they have advisors coming over now. So,
but the only thing is sad, you know, as we know, and there is so much more evidence. You know, I wish this wasn't true. I hate what they're doing with our name, but the reality is that they've been propping up and paying and supporting ISIS. And when I say they, this administration, with the part of the rogue of the CIA or whatever they are behind, they've been doing this. And then they have the excuse to say, oh, we got to go fight ISIS. So more for the military-industrial complex, more. And then, of course, we need to get now our boys try to fix the problem that we created. I mean, not me and you, but this bastard at the White House with his handlers behind created. That's the reality.
You know, they left a big vacuum in Iraq in 2008. And the insurgency in Iraq turned into ISIS.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and from what I understand, I did a little research myself, and I heard ISIS even started in a Jordanian prison.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, question is, you were telling me a little bit about guns, because, you know, as I said, you have pretty much, you got to work with the locals, whatever they have and what you have. What was your basic rifle, combat rifle that you had there available with you?
AK-47.
AK-47. And any type of
Correct.
model, any type of things, any type of brand, Russian, Chinese, well, normally what it goes around there?
Well, we've had sporadic stuff. I mean, you got stuff we've taken back from the battlefield. We've even got some American components that we were able to seize back from ISIS.
Okay.
So
interesting. And normally I mean, there were any AK-74 or just AK-47? Because normally, you know, the new.
Oh no, plenty of AK-74s. You know, all the basic Russian type weapons. The whole region is flooded with that stuff. So.
Yeah.
That's common on the battlefield over there.
If you want to buy an AK-47 on the market there, how much goes for?
I'm thinking about $35.
Wow, I need to move there just to buy a few more. Okay, that would be fun. And of course, you don't.
They're rather cheap.
Yeah, you don't need a $200 stamp from the federal government, right, for the ATF and.
No.
I'm just playing with you, of course not. All right, at least we got.
Yeah, you know, and the whole thing with our government, man, they seen the writing on the wall. They knew this was happening.
Of course,
this could have been stopped when ISIS was small.
But they wanted it.
You know, we could have wiped them out. We could have wiped them out at any time we wanted. And like you said, they let it fester, so it'll spill into our communities. And once it's in our communities, you know, we're screwed. I mean, we can't even fight back because, you know, we'll be arrested.
Exactly. Remember, they've been training them. They've been financing them. That's more than just some sort of negligence, unfortunately. I mean, I have here, let me see, because sometimes, you know, I don't believe anything they say on the media, but sometimes, once in a while, they got something good, okay? For example, there is this ISIS fighter trained by the State Department in the U.S. It was on CNN, okay? I don't know if you ever watched that video. I mean, this is just another another situation. And there are so many more. And as I say, listeners, if you're still waking up, you don't know what's going on. I hate the idea even to think that part of our tax dollars is doing this, but this is a fact. We cannot, we cannot ignore reality. Now, more about weapons, since this is the hour about guns. So you got a AK-47. Normally, your rig. What type of carry rig? How many magazines you were able to carry with you in your rig?
I carried 8.
8, okay. Any side?
And they had more in the trucks.
Okay.
When we're near the line.
Yeah, because you never know really where you go when you get out. You never know when you come back. Seriously, you don't have any type of dropping of extra ammunition, things like that. You're on your own.
No. You're on your own.
Exactly. What about, for example, side weapon? What was your side weapon you had, if you had any?
I actually got a Colt Commander.
Okay.
45, yeah. I'm not sure where they got it from, but I was able to get one.
Wow, that's pretty good. And another question is, another problem I can imagine there in the area is to have water. I mean, it's hot. You got to fight and you stay out for hours. Normally you have like what, canteens, or you have like some sort of a camel gear, camelback. What did you have?
Well, I had a Camelback, and they always had extra water in the trucks. We'd bring 55-gallon drums of water.
Okay.
We would have it near where we needed it.
Now, any special, let's say, training, things that you had to go through when you joined the locals? I mean, first of all, communication. You speak English, of course.
Yeah. You go through their training. You graduate just like you would a basic training.
Wow.
And then you get embedded into the unit. So when you go there as a volunteer, they, even though you've been there, you still go through it, and you get to know the people, and that's when you get bonded to them,
okay.
And you see how wonderful they are. I mean,
Interesting. So, I mean, at least if I was a local and I see a man like you, a woman, because I think maybe even women, who knows, any women came to help as doctors, or maybe even as just just to help from other countries?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
We have people coming all the time that are medical, so I mean, any type of job you could think of on a battlefield.
Wow.
People are volunteering for.
I mean, think about that. I mean, you have somebody that is not even born there. Normally they don't care. I mean, everybody's in their country, try to take care of their problems. And you go there and they see you. I think they really, they should love you. I mean, it's something that, wow, you come here to help me out.
It's an amazing feeling how those people treat you.
That's great. That's really good. At least you have that. I'm glad you're back, by the way, because I tell you, this is really not a game, guys. This is not like a video game. You go there, they just hit me, reset. I mean, the best thing can happen to you, I really believe from my point of view, that you get killed. The problem is that you could also be, let's say, kidnapped or whatever and tortured, right?
Oh, no. I always said to myself, I always carried one magazine with one bullet in it. And if I ever got to the end and I had no ammo and I pulled that one magazine out, that bullet was for me. You know what I mean?
Oh, I understand.
They weren't going to catch me.
I agree.
I'm not going to get burned alive on CNN. Me and my friends, we already get talked about it. And we all had the same pact. You're not taking us alive. We're Americans. You'll love it way too much.
That would be really probably one of the worst death. For many reasons. It is something not humane. I mean, not even an animal should be treated like that. Lisa, let me play one.
I mean, if you've seen what they did to dogs, and cats. I mean, they hate life in general. I was talking to a guy. He was, we were monitoring ISIS social media, and this one lady had just had a baby. Okay,
yeah.
This jihadi wife just had a baby, and she was so happy that it was a boy, and the boy would be martyred someday for Allah. She had the kid dead at 3 months old.
Oh my God. Wow.
Just talking about her son.
Wow.
Wanting him to blow up. Wow.
Let me play 1 second this. So I have this, just because my point here, I want to try to shred at least, part of the truth, because, the truth probably we will never know all the truth, but at least some that normally we don't, not being told all day. But this is from CNN, believe it or not. So when we have Obama out there, so we gotta fight ISIL. By the way, I need to figure it out what is ISIL and not ISIS. Maybe you can help me out with that. But my point is,
Levant is his name. It's the L stands for Levant, like they're a caliphate.
Okay, so
and that's another problem because everybody else calls them ISIS or Daesh.
Yeah,
he's giving them he's being respectful to them.
Ah, I see now. Now I see.
That is a respectful name for ISIS.
Of course, the guy is a Muslim. So what do you expect from him? And all he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim with an agenda to destroy America. That's a fact. But let me play 1 second this little CNN stuff because it's important. Another piece of the puzzle. Let's see. Okay, let's see now. It's coming out. Nice fighter. Okay, this is from CNN.
Donned in ISIS black, he confidently carries a long sniper rifle, a bandolier of ammunition. He picks off a tomato to show his skill. This is an ISIS video, and CNN has just learned this man trained on American soil. The fighter says he's Gulmurad Khalimov, a former commander in a special police counter-terror unit in Tajikistan, a key U.S. ally.
From 2003 to 2008, I received specialized training in America on the military base of Blackwater.
Blackwater, a controversial U.S. contracting company which sent private security personnel to Iraq and trained other countries' fighters at this compound in North Carolina. Contacted by CNN, Academy, the company that purchased Blackwater's training facility, was unable to confirm that Khalimov was there. The State Department tells CNN Khalimov participated in 5 counterterrorism courses in the U.S. and Tajikistan between 2003 and last year. We spoke with former Army sniper Paul Shari about what he might have learned.
What skills that he would have learned do you think might hurt Allied forces on the battlefield? So the types of training that he's likely to have received would have been basic tactics and maneuvers, the ability to, say, move through a building, move through an urban area in a tactical way, maybe basic marksmanship.
Shari says U.S. contractors wouldn't have trained Khalimov to be a killing machine like Rambo. But if Khalimov was a top commander in Tajikistan's counter-terror forces, there's another worry.
The real problem is he knows how to plan counterterrorism operations. So he knows how the people who protect a high-value target will be thinking. He knows how the people who protect an embassy will be thinking. And so that puts him in a position to, as we would say in the military, to red team that, to think very intelligently how to disrupt those plans. That's a dangerous capability.
Another ominous signal, Khalimov's threat against what he called American pigs.
Inshallah. God willing, we will come to your cities, to your homes, and we will kill you.
All right, what do you think about this comeback here? Is it, you think that,
that's prepping the United States citizens to be afraid.
Mm-hmm. But also,
they're just prepping you. Yeah.
Yeah, but another point, you're right, now, of course, they want to put fear into us. But one important thing, I think, that we should always not forget, that according to this report, and is witnessing, if it's real or not, I don't know for sure, it could be also an actor, but who knows? According to this report, is being trained on U.S. soil by our tax dollar. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah.
This is possible.
Well, like I said, I worked for Blackwater, and I never heard of any of that. But that's a private contracting group. So what they pretty much did was they brought him in under the guise of a corporation instead of the government. The government would have been behind it, but they got him in through a corporation, not through the government.
Yes, the State Department technically was behind it, because somebody, remember, the corporation, somebody must be paying the corporation, okay? I mean, let's say, for example, I am Blackwater, my job is to train people and get paid. That's it. I'm not into politics, okay? At the same time, somebody must pay the bill and must bring him here. And you don't go into the U.S. if you're an Arab like him without the State Department behind blessing and probably
exactly correct.
Special passport. So that's my point. Yeah, Blackwater probably was the instrument for the training, but behind there was somebody who was paying the bill, because Blackwater doesn't train you for free, and that's what they do. They get money out of that. And more important, the point is the State Department, according to this article, this report, was behind. Now, that's the scary thing. And we know now also a lot of things about Hillary, new emails that have been released, that they were there and they were preparing and giving weapons to in Libya to put into Syria. So that's another part of the question. So anything that you know as a first-time experience, because I can go just through what I find through the internet, through the article, but what you can tell us, what you learn being there about this weapon trafficking, especially from Hillary, or whatever you think maybe State Department going to Syria to help ISIS?
Well, actually, they kept I know at the beginning of the ISIS conflict, we kept giving the Iraqi army arms.
Mm-hmm.
And, the best. I mean, good technology, good weapons. And they would fight, they would drop the weapons and surrender them to ISIS. Now, America had done that several times, knowing that the Iraqi army wasn't holding their own.
Wow.
And they were giving the guns to ISIS. So a way, even, I'm not sure of the black market, but I do know this, that some of the best weapons, ended up in ISIS's hands that the Kurdish were having problems fighting.
Wow. Interesting. Now, I'm curious about that. You go there and you sleep at night. At least you try to sleep. I don't know how can you sleep, but you sleep, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
You have like some sort of sentry warning system, because after all, you say you are 6 miles away from the borders, okay? I mean, all
they have men manning the line 24 hours a day. Plus, they put up flares with tripwires. I mean, it's real primitive. I mean, there ain't no, there ain't no radar. There ain't no, nothing. There's nothing. I mean, normally, so if you don't spot them or they don't trip a flare, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and that's my point. You sleep with this family. Did you have your little room, or you were sleeping all together? How does it work? I'm curious. I'm trying to visualize.
No, actually, they gave me my own little area.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, so I mean, it was in the living room, and they just put a blanket up in a bed, and I was able to have my space, and
And you had, of course, the point. You were still there, and your home, your place where you were living. I mean, let's say, put it this way, is a regular door, probably a regular window. I don't think you were living in some sort of a bunker. So, did you have any type of special little? Normally, I know, for example, when I go into a hotel, I'm kind of paranoid. I got all the tip. You only want to know, I got door jammers, I got trip wires, I got everything, and I'm in a hotel room in America, okay? If I was going there, I don't know what I would do. I probably would do even more. But did you have any special things, or you say, okay, I'm fine, I'm safe here, the door can be whatever? I mean,
from being in the Army, I was never really that afraid of getting attacked at night, because I knew there was men watching.
Mm-hmm.
There were people on the front line. If we would have got overrun, my host family would have received a phone call to get up and go fight.
Okay, I see.
So it's a community. It's a community alert system. Cell phones. They have certain air horns they blow to warn people that there's been a breakthrough. So.
Little bit like, the time of our militia when we had during the Revolutionary War. They were community, brothers, sisters, families bonding together. That's interesting. Well, you really had, for sure, an experience that many other human beings in this society, at least today's America, had, because this is something normal. And don't get me wrong, I don't think it's something we should aim to. This is not something I would like to have my son or daughter to go to, but sometimes, like in the past, our founding fathers had to bleed and die, so hopefully we didn't have to. That's the idea, and I hope we don't have to do it. We don't have to do it here, but unfortunately this is the history. It's repeating itself. And now I have a question for you, because you're also an interesting guy. You don't just go out there in the middle of the Middle East to fight somebody else's fight as a volunteer, but also you're very concerned, according to what I've been following you on Facebook, also on our southern borders, that I really believe probably it's the first thing we should, as America, defend, because we are completely being invaded every night, every day, thanks to our corrupted traitors government that is sitting in Washington, most of them. And but this is not just about drug cartels or even, of course, trafficking. There's more.
Yeah, you're exactly right on that. As a matter of fact, the drug cartels are hooked up with ISIS and even Al-Qaeda, because they have the poppies and they want the heroin. And so they have a real nice deal where they will smuggle 3 guys from Pakistan in a group of 100 illegals to go do dirt.
Yeah.
So it's happened.
No, what is my concern really, and you don't need to be a conspiracy theorist, just to have a brain and think. Somebody really has a plan to harm you, want to kill you. they need to find a way to infiltrate your defenses. And you know that very well. I've been on the borders myself in the past several times, and I was shocked to think that we can have spent so many billions of dollars defending somebody else's country borders, like, for example, South Korea. Not even a rat can go through the freaking minefield. But at the same time, we have our Mexico. Yeah, it's true. I mean, you cannot. That's the best borders you may dream. Okay, great border. I love it. But here in our southern border, you have pretty much open field that anybody can cross. And as you said, even blending in with the drug dealers, that would be bad enough, but you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Even if you had few every night in the last 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years, now you have already a sleeping army sitting in the cities of America. And I think we do. We are ready.
We do.
We are ready. I mean, they are ready, these bastards. That's the point.
I mean, I haven't myself, but a friend of mine actually found ISIS literature on illegal.
Wow.
About a year ago. And, just like this guy, we were out there last weekend in Douglas. The guy's 80 years old, a combat veteran from D-Day.
Wow.
Him and his wife have coffee on their porch, and they watch people with backpacks and AK-47s coming.
Wow.
Crossing their fields. And the thing is this, they'll call the Border Patrol, but the Border Patrol won't respond for about an hour to 45 minutes, and by that time, they're in the wind and they're gone.
Yeah, I think about it. This is supposed to be one of the duties of the role of the federal government to protect the borders of this country. And we've been paying taxes over taxes. One thing they should do, and think how they feel, these poor people there, paying property taxes, try to make a living out of their land, and at the same time they're left alone in the middle of this war zone, because I tell you, I really believe that borders with Mexico, some part of the border, especially Arizona or Texas or even California, they are more dangerous than being probably in Iraq sometimes, because, at least in Iraq you can shoot back with no rules of engagement.
Oh, yeah.
You're there, your life, my life. Here, if you defend your property, they're going to come after you. If you point a loaded gun at some, 20 illegal aliens coming on your property, that, by the way, you may also have fear for your life because they can jump on you. Guess what? Some ranchers in the past lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we are even worse shape here because we have our own government fighting against us.
Oh, of course. I even heard of a woman that was asleep in her bed on the border. And illegals had got into her house, woke her up, and demanded breakfast.
Oh, wow. Room and bed. Thank God they didn't demand some sex, too. I mean, maybe they didn't like her enough. I mean, that's scary, man. Seriously.
That's true. She was an older lady, so she had to do the breakfast thing. But they commandeered her house for 2 days and moved drugs out of it.
Wow. I hope they left a tip at least. Gosh, this is amazing.
They left her alive. And a lot of her property was stolen. But
wow,
yeah,
that's amazing. And this is happening under our watch. I'm very grateful. You're there. You do your. I'm just curious. All this, of course, doesn't really pay you. What do you do for a living? You don't have to answer. I mean, after all, you gotta eat 3 times a day, I guess, and maybe you got a roof over your head.
Yes, sir.
What do you do for a living? I mean, to pay your bills. You're always doing this stuff. I mean, it kind of takes time and energy.
I work at a tactical military simulation company. I don't want to mention the name though.
Okay, that's fine, of course. So you have, let's say, a job in the field. You are at least in, but still, you give a lot of your time that, of course, you could make an extra living for something that really doesn't pay you. And so interesting. I commend you for that. That's why I also want to put this show. By the way, this show is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. And in this hour, we're treating a little bit everything. There is the part about love, you do something in a way that completely for altruism, okay? I call this brotherly love, humanly love. And then, of course, there is the guns part, it's part of our way you can operate in this dimension, in this life to fight evil. And then, of course, there is also freedom part, that's the idea. Now, I have a last question because, we're getting through. I mean, these hours went so fast. I mean, talking about training a little bit, First, there is so many things, of course. This is just a radio show. We don't have a school and we don't have the whole class. But I'm just curious. When you went there to, by the way, how long did you spend in this part of Middle Eastern, between Syria and Turkish? How long did you spend?
9 months.
9 months. That's almost a year. To keep your skills trained, probably the best way you were just doing it, I guess,
Correct.
But did you have any?
We would train on our own. we would train the Kurdish on how we were trained.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we got cross-training how they did things, and we kind of intermingled the American style of fighting, hand signals, call signs. My particular group, we used Templar call signs, which, nobody knew of because these guys are all Muslim and
Mm-hmm.
they have no idea what the Templars are.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, they just call us Crusaders. And so we kind of adopted the Templar call signs, and that's how I got my name Trinity, for the Father and Son and Holy Ghost.
Oh, interesting. That's very interesting. Wow. And any special, sometimes there are some basic drills that you can do during the day just to keep your things, like, for example, some dry practice drills, or maybe, I don't know, limited amount of round drills, just to keep yourself always tuned up. Because I tell you, this is not like you're going to the range and today, I'm having a bad day, I don't care. No, you gotta be there, and even that extra split second of delay of, let's say, not being reactive enough, or your senses not being enough, can cost your life. Any type of regular general drill they used to do during the day, or whenever you had a chance?
We used to, if there was four of us sitting around camp, we would work on four-man tactical drills.
Mm-hmm.
We would work on squad drills, shooting, hand-to-hand, gun disarms, and like watching for people with suicide bombs.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I remember one time, I was in a hide position, and I was watching a crowd during an Iraqi election. And we noticed that everybody there was wearing, sandals and barefoot, and, that's how they walk around out there. And my buddy had noticed 3 guys in burqas wearing combat boots. So we were able to jam them up fast and found out that they did have weapons on them, and they were coming to hit the crowd.
Wow.
It's something that small you can look for. Just, are they wearing combat boots? What's their mannerisms like? How are they acting? Are they standoffish? Are they hauling butt into your arena? You look more for what the people are doing, because you can't see the weapons underneath the burqas if they're wearing a body bomb or something. But you can literally tell their tenseness sometimes by the way they're standing, walking, or even trying to stay away from American forces, because they don't want to come near us because we might search them.
Exactly. I mean, the first weapon, I always say, it's our brain, it's our awareness, because if we don't see the fight is coming to us, we're always going to be half second too late. And I don't care how fast, strong you are, you're always going to be in disadvantage. So, for sure, awareness, like an animal, like a wolf, you must completely sharp your senses and, completely live in condition. I say normally yellow, but probably you were there orange 24/7, I guess, to be always aware of what's going on around you. Any special...
and to me, the best weapon is the human spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we're not going to go quietly. We're going to do our very best. Your will, just wanting to finish, to get to victory. You can have all the weapons in the world if you're not strong in your heart, those weapons ain't worth nothing.
Exactly. This is very true. And I always say, for example, let's look at history. Let's say also, population in the past, even armed with a Mosin Nagant or just with very, let's say, antique weapons. If you really have the passion, if you have your spirit and your mindset, that's the most important thing that is going to keep you victorious at the end. Because look at what happened, for example, of course, the
revolution.
The revolution, but let's say also, for example, during the Russian invasion in Afghanistan, yes, Afghanistan had the help of America, but still, mostly they were fighting with Mosin Nagants and they're really non-organized, like you can have mostly in some other most advanced armies, But now, question is, this is so exciting because I tell you, we are talking about, by the way, listeners, if you're there, say, what are you talking all this stuff? This is a real life experience. Normally I bring you the best instructors, I bring you great people that we can talk about training and all the things that you need to do. But this is about a human being that he went all the way in the middle of a conflict zone, not because was paid by anybody, but just for his beliefs to help a population that they are pretty much being attacked from all fronts. And it's the Kurdish, how do you pronounce it? Help me out. I always say so bad. What is the Kurdish population? How do you say that?
Kurdistan.
Kurdistan, yes. So anyway,
the Kurdish people.
So spend 9 months there, shooting and shooting, being shot and shooting back, and all this to pretty much to try to help him out to survive. Because that point is, every time you got surrounded by all enemies, they will kill you. And at the end of the day,
oh yeah, you're dead.
You're dead. And unfortunately, they don't just kill you. Before they kill you in this part of the world, they first have fun with you. That's the sad part. And it's not just a clean death. Any bad.
Well, they try to make you convert to Islam.
Yeah.
Okay, if you convert to Islam, you pretty much get a fast death.
Yeah.
If you don't convert to Islam, you're going to get a slow death.
Exactly. So that's pretty much it. So, in some other more civilized, and I've been sarcastic, Islamic country, they treat you like a slave. You mean you must pay the dhimma. Correct me if I pronounce it right. So that means
you're completely right.
You're like a big citizen. Okay, we can let you believe in whatever God you want, but guess what? You slave, you gotta pay every year like the tax, and you have no rights. Of course, you don't have guns and all this stuff.
Well, they kind of got that from. You know what it reminds me of? Back in 1930s and 40s, when Hitler would put the Star of David on the Jewish people's doors, same thing there. They write infidel on the door, and then they come and collect their taxes.
Yes.
I mean, Hitler's alive and well today under Islam.
Yeah, and of course, Islam has been doing that for 700 years or more. It's nothing new, really. Now, question is, in all your 9 months, one experience that you really say one day or one moment that you say, maybe this is going to be the end. Any particular event that you're really freaking out that you thought maybe that was going to be over?
Oh, well, yeah, we got overrun 2 or 3 times. It was real hairy. They would take bulldozers and charge our line with bulldozers.
Wow.
Go right through our trucks, and then they would have suicide vehicles right behind them, and they would just keep running in at you.
Wow.
So the bulldozers were probably the scariest thing I encountered.
Did you have any special, let's say, modern rifles like RPG or maybe hand grenades?
I was able to acquire a Barrett 50 over there, which I was able to use really well.
That's great. That's something. But still, compared to what normally you may have, I'm talking about a little heavy firepower. That's still something that...
Oh, I know.
It's nothing.
Sometimes we had it, sometimes we didn't. We had everything from... from mortars. I mean, just small arms. I mean, where I was at, it was just pretty much small arms. I mean, I felt like we were pretty much the Americans in the Revolution with pitchforks and muskets. Wow. That's how I felt. Because we didn't have the heavy armor. We didn't have the heavy weapons. I didn't even see a 50 cal machine gun over there.
Wow, that's pretty scary, man. Any type of use of Molotov bottles, for example, during the Cold War or before the Cold War, in some part of East Europe, especially when there was the invasion of Prague or different parts of Czechoslovakia. I mean, that was one of the best things they could find, civilians, to put together to try to stop heavy vehicles. Did you have any use of those?
Oh, yeah. Homemade stuff we used it's amazing what those people can come up with.
Okay, interesting. Well, I want to really say thank you, first of all, to be on the show, because I think it's an interesting experience. And I want to give you the floor now. Whatever you want to say, you got 2 more minutes, and I want to give you the floor. You can say whatever you want, of course, always with FCC rules of language that we need to comply. Go ahead, please. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, I wanted to give you the floor, the last 2 minutes. Whatever would you like to talk?
Who, me?
Yes, I want to give you close.
Oh, I thought you were talking. I thought it was a caller.
No. You.
Well, you know what I really like to say? I really like to say people start researching Kurdistan and helping. If you can send them money, send them money. If you can send them a Bible, send them a Bible. If you know somebody that can go out there and help them, please go out there and help them before this turns into our country. We got to stop ISIS there before they become here. We need to kill them. They need to go. There's going to be no quarter with those people. Those people are going to kill you. They're going to destroy your faith, your family, and everything we work so hard to build here in this nation.
I have a question for you. You heard about Germany last few weeks. They are pretty much preparing for something that we don't know, but they're saying for the population to prepare food, medical supply, and also they are conscripting medicals, and they are preparing the army to be deployed on German soil. Same story with the Czech Republic. And you think something is brewing maybe the next few weeks?
I do.
What do you think?
I do. I mean, you got to understand, what country was that in? Oh my gosh. Let me think of this for a second. There was a particular country, and for some reason, it's on the tip of my tongue, and I cannot remember the name.
Okay.
But in one neighborhood, they had 20,000 ISIS fighters that had pledged allegiance to ISIS and went over there. And this is one little town in Europe.
Wow.
You know, so there is an army there that, you know, and it's going to bleed over here. It is coming. You know, we just got to be ready. We're Americans. I don't see, you know, why we can't dust off our backs, you know, pick up our Second Amendment again and start training.
All right. Listen, I want to thank you, Trinity. Let's be in touch more. And by the way, one time I would like to come down there. It would be my honor to train together, and that would be really fun. Invite me whenever you do something, please, okay?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we'd love to have you. And I just want to say this. Before we got to talk on Facebook, I have always been the biggest fan of Mr. Zanna.
Oh.
I used to listen to the Minuteman song over there. I lost my Don't Tread on Us CD while I was there. Which, as a matter of fact, I'm going to have to get another one, but I want to get one that's autographed.
I'll send it to you as my gift. Send me your address.
Oh, you're awesome.
I'll send you a CD and also a nice bag of coffee as my gift for you and your wife, okay?
Oh, man, you're awesome.
Okay.
You're awesome.
Waiting for you.
Thank you for doing what you do for our country.
Hey,
I mean, you're such a breath of fresh air.
I just might doing my duty. Thank you very much. Guys, don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna, ready for our number 3.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. The hour about love. I love this hour. I must tell you. It is something that makes me feel like really enjoying this opportunity to be on the air. It makes it all worth it. You know, after all, I'm not saying that, as I said, I don't even want to call this a show. I know that probably that's the right English term. It's a radio show. But show, it's something almost like entertainment. This is not entertainment. I really believe this is what we're talking here, the information I'm trying to bring you. They're by some topics that they're really important. They're like almost between life and death. I believe that. For sure, it's between freedom and slavery. Between the rights you have to decide how you want to live your life, what you can do with your body, and how much of your money you can retain. I say you should retain them all, but that's another story. But the point is, regardless, you know, they are very serious topics. At the end, as I said, you know, we need to go to sleep. We need to regroup. We need to enjoy life. And what better way to enjoy life to find each other? Find like-minded people that, I tell you, I never had a chance maybe to meet before I had this opportunity to be on the show. Yes, there is Facebook, there are a lot of social media, but I tell you, through the radio, even now through the internet, I have new listeners that I'm so humble and so grateful to meet this humanity from America, from other states, from everywhere. I mean, the latest friends, I have incredible friend from Sweden. I wanted to say hi to her. Great lady, very smart lady. So, Solara, I mean, it's great. And then I have guys from here, like here in Mojave County, Oatman. And you know what? I never met them before. They never met me, but I feel like almost we have a connection. Sometimes, maybe because we have some basic beliefs in common. I don't know, but I feel that type of connection. If I never met them, I consider them brothers and sisters. That's for me probably the paycheck that I appreciate the most, for me being on this show, doing this show. By the way, it takes time. It takes effort. Many times I've been thinking, why do I want to do this? I have so many other things I'm doing, so many other responsibilities, businesses, and things I'm already been doing. And honestly, I don't have that type of ambition to be a radio guy. As I said, listen to my accent. Sometimes I talk like probably 3 years old guy compared to the pros out there. But you know what? It is an opportunity, as I said, and it's an opportunity to reach out, to try to connect, to network, and to enlighten each other, to help each other, to learn, and to find each other, because time is short. We're getting to this point. Now, in this hour, let me shut up, because when I get that type of, rant, I know I can be long, man. I have this gentleman that, as I said, I never met, but somehow we connect through emails. I know he listens to my show, and he lives not that far from where I live. He's in Mojave County, another part of Mojave County, a little bit closer to the border with California, exactly in the Oatman area. But anyway, he's an interesting man, I'm telling you. Not only is into guns, but also is into a topic that I really want to touch. It's mining, or at least prospecting for gold. Why so beautiful, that idea? Because the idea that you as a human being, you can find your way to be free and to, let's say, create your own wealth, a connection between you and the earth, and hopefully without government interferences. And after all, whatever you find, it's your damn business. That's why I like mining. Because, you can be, let's say, the most humble person out there, living in the nature. At the same time, you can make a great living. And I hope and pray for you that nobody's going to find out what you do. Because it's the fruit of your work. Nobody should be a parasite above your back, sucking the blood that you've been spitting and, sweating to get those nuggets or whatever you're getting out of the dirt. So that's why I pray that more people get involved in finding their ways to find their wealth. And this is exactly the difference between people like me and socialists. Socialists, they want everybody miserable. I want everybody happy and successful and free. And the opportunity that you can retain the fruit of your labor. I don't want to suck out of you. I want you produce and be happy, enjoy it, and as an end result, whatever you produce, you will generate wealth for everybody. Because when everybody's broke and poor and miserable, we're all going to be broke. But when there is a society that's flourishing, that is going to have an opportunity to create and also to produce, well, it's like let's say it's a side effect, and a good side effect, that we're all going to get something in return, because money is going to start to grow in the local economy. That's the way. So that's why I say less government, more freedom, and it's all equal in more wealth to everybody. That's the way I really believe in free market. Now, let me shut up, because I have this gentleman that his name is Scottie. And as I said, not only is an interesting guy when it comes down to prospecting and mining, but also he bought the Freedom Rifle. Don't trade on us. Oh, man, this is a perfect combo. Let me have him on the show right now. Scottie, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Luca.
Okay, man, I hope you didn't fall asleep with my introduction. I get kind of romantic and corny, I know that, but I really mean it. Nice to meet you, first of all.
Likewise.
Very good. Now, before I start, I need to, since I talk so much, I have here in front of me a beautiful bottle of organic red wine from California, one of the few things they still do producing decently in that state, and I feel sorry for them, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of brothers and sisters there. But anyway, let me have a sip so I can talk a little better. And meanwhile, please introduce yourself. You say whatever you want to say. I didn't say your last name because, for privacy reasons, I know you're doing prospecting, and I think it's an interesting business. And if I were you, I would keep it private, honestly. I don't want to let the government know what I do, prospecting, what I find, what I don't find. It's your damn business. But you know what? It's up to you. I give you the floor.
Well, thank you, Luca. I've been listening for about almost a year now. I moved out here from Los Angeles after being out there in that communist California for almost 50 years.
Wow.
And I moved out here, and I tell you, every time I cross the river, I can breathe. I feel like I'm free. And I tell my friends back in LA and in the city, you know, you come out here, like you said, Luca, the Freedom Rifle, you talked about it. You made it happen. It took me a while, and I went down, I picked up the rifle. I went in, they checked my ID. I'm not a criminal. I have nothing to hide. And I pick up the gun, and I bring it home.
Beautiful.
I can protect myself. I can protect my home. And, you know, it's great out here in the desert. You get to know your neighbors. You know, I live in the city for, like I said, years and years. I owned my house. I didn't know my neighbor. You know, he's in the grocery store. He doesn't even say hi.
Wow.
I come home here. I don't have to worry. The neighbor says, hey, Scottie, they look after my house. They take my trash cans. You know, it's great out here.
Beautiful.
This is a free American.
Well,
free
listen,
America, my friend.
I know because I tell you, first of all, I come from Italy. So for me, the shock was immediate. Even when I landed in California, that is not even anymore America, unfortunately, but 18 years ago, of course, things got worse and worse every year. But even then, when things were already bad compared to other states, America, compared to Europe, has still so much more to offer. That's a fact. And I felt that, you know, that joy. Every morning I was waking up, and still today, after almost 20 years, I feel the same joy, almost like a fever, almost like an excitement. You know, today I want to wake up, what I want to create, what I want to do. I mean, of course, things are getting more and more like what I left, you know, but still. Then coming from California, and I feel the same, exactly what you felt, because let's say exactly in 2005, I crossed the river, and I was screaming and yelling of joy, you know, flipping the middle finger exactly in the middle of the bridge, seriously. And I was loading up my big yellow truck, and I say, screw you, California, I'm out of the hell. Okay, and the first thing I did, I went to the gun shop. Of course, first I got an ID and everything else, and then bang, I got my first AR-15, and bang, finally I can start to live like a semi-free man. Don't get me wrong, we have things to fix even here. We still planet Earth. A lot of things we can improve, but compared to California, we have still a chance here. That's a fact. That's a very much of a fact.
You know, out there in California, Luca, I grew up out there, and probably my first time prospecting or mining, my uncle took us out prospecting and panning for gold. Mm-hmm. Probably I was seven years old.
Wow.
And, you know, I thought it was the greatest thing to find that little shiny, just one little flake in the pan. Unbelievable. I mean, and I've been hooked since. And I've done, you know, tunnel prospecting, treasure hunting. I've been metal detecting. I was blessed. I was able to go to Australia for a month.
Wow.
And they really have the gold nuggets over there. I went to China, Caribbean, diving for treasure. I've been really blessed to be able to travel. But here in Arizona, the land of the free, you know, there's gold claims out in California that we used to go to as kids. We can no longer go there. They have fenced off. Mm-hmm. The BLM, not the Black Lives Matter, but the Bureau of Land Mismanagement, or BLM.
Yeah.
They come up to you and they just start harassing you for no reason.
Oh, there is a reason. There is a
reason.
You know what? Don't get me wrong. It's part of the plan. And unfortunately, Arizona, we are next on their target. It's called Agenda 21, also now Agenda 2030. Mm-hmm. It's called complete global control of the human resources, of the natural resources, because after all, slaves supposed never to have access to water, to minerals, to land. Private property ownership supposed not to happen when you are a slave, and that's exactly the way treating us. And then, of course, they want to masquerade all this behind the farce of, we need to do it for the environment. It has nothing to do with the environment. This is about controlling the resources, like water. And then, of course, you're farming. Look at the bandits. You know, they're going to make way that if you have cows. And by the way, I don't even eat cows, but this is not about me. This is about us, the right to do what we want to do according to the respect of each other. The next thing they want to do, that if you want to buy, let's say, steak, it's going to cost you $50 because all the carbon taxes and all the crap they're going to add. And more important, as you said now in the mining, are you kidding me? A free human being able to find his own living, getting out of the matrix, staying out of the box and out of their control is beautiful. You know, I have my little machine, okay? It's called, I forgot the name. It's an Australian brand. Probably you can help me out. Forgot the name. Mind Lab, I guess. Yes.
Mind Lab. Yeah.
I got a decent one. Pay probably $800. And, I don't have enough time, but I always say, by the way, I find some nuggets. Just don't let me say it too loud here. But, not much, no much, little things, but I really enjoy the fever. It's so beautiful. It's not even about the gold itself. It's about the thrill. That tonight, go ahead.
Interrupt you. You're exactly right, Luca. If I can go to a place where someone was at in the 1800s, late 1800s, mid 1800s, the 49ers, if I can go to an area where they were at and I could find one flake of gold, I could connect to what they were chasing and back then. And you look at some of these places out in the middle of the desert, and here's a guy walking around with a wagon, a horse, a burro, a donkey, and a gold pan.
Yeah.
And he had to make it with that. You and I could go out there with a fancy metal detector and walk around and find a piece of gold, and the price now, unreal. I mean, we have it made, my friend.
Oh, listen, not only that, but I felt the same, especially here in Mojave County. You realize the terrain is harsh, okay? This is not exactly... imagine 150 years ago, there were no cell phones, there were no highways, there were no cars. You got your little donkey, maybe a shotgun, or a rifle if you like it, with your 6 shooters, and maybe another body if you're lucky. And then you're in the middle of nowhere. Really, if you break a leg, or if you get bitten by a scorpion or anything, or maybe just surrounded by Indians, or maybe just you don't find the next well pretty soon. Because after all, your canteens, they're not exactly, unlimited. Think about it. I mean, really, that's like a movie, by a real scary movie. And then, of course, they did not have the metal detectors, I mean, all they had was this sort of different system that we will talk now, penning and other techniques. But what I like, for example, I really believe that can be helpful for us, at least for me, since I'm not into really using any type of chemical or any type of industrial mining. I believe that a single guy or single lady with a metal detector and a little bit of knowing the history, the places and the spot where used to be mining activities, before they didn't have a metal detector, so they had to somehow create the ore and smash the rocks and process them, or going through the dustpan and different system. But now we can go there with a metal detector. All we have to go through their leftover rocks, and all we need to find is a little nugget. And they couldn't find the stuff. Go ahead.
You bring up that point, Luca, and I know people for a fact that they've taken this modern technology and they've gone back to what the old timers were digging. And with the new technology, they can go to the tailing piles, the mine dumps, the ravines, the rivers, and they can metal detect the dry creek beds, and they can detect the gold that the old timers, they just didn't see. They would throw it out. I was recently up in Colorado, and it turns out I found some nice nuggets that actually, they have platinum in them, which are worth almost as much as gold. But in the 1800s, they weren't looking for platinum. There was no market.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. That's very true.
And
So listen to me. Let's talk about things that we can talk. You stop where you want to stop. As I said, we keep privacy here, and I don't want to. But at the same time, I want to give the idea. This show is about freedom, as I said, and also about love. Because I tell you, when I go out in these places, I feel like connected with the nature as much as these bastards at the BLM, and this is, of course, me talking. I'm responsible for my own wars, not you. But I say again, these bastards at the BLM, most of them, not everybody, but unfortunately they love to follow the orders. They really think we are somehow part of the problem, like we are like these nuisances, like we are these polluters. No, I really believe most of the miners that I met, they're really responsible people. They understand nature is part of our ecosystem. And there is almost no rules, but there are rules that, we not only watch for each other, but also we watch for the environment. For example, we go out there, I see when people is polluting, doing stupid things, and I saw miners, telling them off pretty directly, okay? So it's almost like a real, let's say, the real natural defense of our land. We are there. After all, we live off the land, or at least people like miners, they live off the land. And I tell you, you really connect with this source of whatever the earth gives you. And I tell you, it's amazing. But also the fact that really, I know people, I'm not one of those, I just do for hobby once in a while. Unfortunately, my time is short. But still, I promise myself to do a little more often now. But anyway, I know people that really, that's their living. And I'm really proud of them, because I tell you guys, any one of you that can make a living off the record, and I don't feel like you're cheating. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You take care of yourself. And I hate when people, must be a cheater. No. When people understand that the Federal Reserve is a private corporation that since 1913 is been feeding and feasting over our back, and the income tax is a direct consequence of that, and no $1 from the income tax goes to any service or anything really that you think. If it's just to pay the interest to the debt to this private corporation that creates money out of thin air, it's a fraud. It's slavery. Yeah. Before 1913, we didn't pay that. Go ahead.
Interrupt you, Luca.
No, go ahead.
You think about this. The old timers, they go out there and they would prospect, and they would actually generate money from the land.
Yes.
And they would bring that into town, and that would generate the economy.
Exactly.
Now, in modern days, first thing they want to do is, well, what do you have? And you have to claim it, and you have to be taxed on it. Once it gets introduced to the system, the modern system, it's corrupt. It's done. But the old times, you go into town, you'd buy supplies, you would put the gold dust down, they'd weigh it out, you'd buy the provisions, and that was commerce.
Yes.
Nowadays, they get the gold. Well, where did you get the gold? How much do you get? How much do you make? They start right away with all this stuff,
Yeah, tell us a little bit, since you're the expert, and I'm just here to try to learn. For example, there are different levels, of course, how you want to do it. I call myself the peon level. The amateurish level. I got my little metal detector. I got a few maps. I know the environment. I always be careful that I do not trespass on private property or other people's claims. That's the number one thing I want to be sure. And after that, I just go out there and try to play with my machine. And, once in a while I might find a little rock. That's the stupid way, or at least the way that I do once in a while. Now, there are different ways. For example, you can also claim a mine. How does it work, for example? What type of levels you can achieve?
That's a very important point, Luca. These days you have different issues. Like, for instance, out in California, if you take from, Calico all the way to the river, a lot of that has been turned over to National Monument.
Yeah.
Mr. Obama has signed off millions of acres.
Yes.
Okay, so there's areas you may not go in, or else they're going to take your metal detector, they'll fine you, they'll take your truck, and you're done.
Wow.
But, a good way to go is to do a little research. One of the largest associations of prospectors is a GPAA, Gold Prospectors Association of America. And they were started back in the 70s so that someone like you and I and the family and the kids could go out on the weekend. We know where we're going. We know we're allowed there. And we know what we can do.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you can go to open areas. The BLM has open areas. But if you're out, let's say in the desert, you start seeing white corner posts and no trespassing. Now you're starting to delve into tribal land. Also on tribal land, that's a no-go. That's a no-no.
Yeah, so you must really be careful where you're going. That's a must. And I respect private property, number one. The only thing that really makes me sick, when it's public land, the BLM is supposed to be our land. Unfortunately, it's exactly the opposite. It becomes almost the king's land.
Right.
That's the sad thing.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be our land. We're supposed to respect it, of course. We're supposed not to pollute and do things that you shouldn't do anyway. But then you realize they're acting like little enforcers for the lords. And we know very well now this is the global plan. This is no more a conspiracy, it's a fact. And Agenda 21, we are smashed exactly in the middle. And unfortunately, Mojave County is also in the middle. California, of course, is always a few years ahead of us. But we are next. We already saw the last few months how they're trying to close parts of, for example, the Colorado River, the parts that in Havasu City, Lake Havasu, and all these refuge areas, so BLM control. They don't want any more. They're closing a lot of trails. It's part of the plan. Slowly, they're going to confine us in these big cities for many reasons. But
you bring up a critical point,
yes.
A critical issue is I have to commend the people of Arizona for stepping up and just showing up and doing. You have to stay vigilant. In California, it's busy, everybody. They don't have time to go to BLM meeting. And the BLM and the Forest Service and these other agencies, they're very slick about how they do one of these public meetings. They'll put the thing out a week before in the middle of something buried in a bulletin, and you don't hear about it, and nobody goes. So they just sign it off and write it off, and now it's law. But out here, I noticed Arizona, the people stood up, they took time, they drove down there. That's what you have to do. You have to keep your ears and eyes open because these guys will sneak it up on you.
Yeah, one thing very sad. First of all, the BLM supposed to have no any type of constitutional authority to legislate or regulate anything. I mean, only Congress shall make laws, not the president with executive orders, and not for sure these overpaid, fat bureaucrats that they think they are little mini gods out there. And guys, if you listen to the show, listen to me. I have nothing against you. Some of you, they may be decent human beings. They are family men. I understand that. But you're still working for the freaking devil. Sorry about that. Find another job. Okay, rather you can sell peanuts maybe on the street. I mean, seriously, I couldn't work for an agency that I know is completely unconstitutional. And unfortunately, your leaders, the overdogs over you, they pretty much have an agenda. And it's a socialist/global communist agenda to destroy private property and to create a global government. They know it or not, doesn't matter. They're still doing it. So I don't care what you're doing, but you're working for a really bad, evil, and unconstitutional agency. I mean, according to the Constitution, the BLM is supposed not even to exist. The United States federal government is supposed to have just places to create force and military places and very limited areas, only just as specified in the Constitution. Washington, D.C., that's
Luca,
pretty much the main area. Go ahead.
I want to tell you one thing. Out in California, I was in the gold mining business, and I've been in buying, selling gold, and trading gold, and a lot of contacts. I'm talking many years. So I know a lot of people. When you start hearing reports of someone going with their boy up to a gold area, open gold area, where you're allowed to pan and sluice and mine, and a ranger or a Forest Service they call EO, or an enforcement officer, shows up with a sidearm, and he starts asking for ID and this and that, and you're not allowed to. They do pretty much a roadside hearing.
Jesus,
these guys, they're just. I mean, they're out there. They're rogue agents, and they're Berkeley trained. They're nuts. Yeah, but when you're out there, don't fight them. Take the information, write it down, talk to supervisors, talk to authorities, but don't combat them in the field because they're going to win.
Oh, listen, after all, they're shielded by the holy aura. They are federal agents. So you even just look at them wrong, they feel intimidated, you're in trouble. That's the reality. I agree with you. You gotta be smart. I mean, but still I still have my First Amendment, and I still think you're a bunch of thugs, overpaid thugs with a uniform and a gun that you shouldn't have. Seriously. Because I tell you, this is exactly what it is. And, as I said, if people look back at the Constitution and they can start to see exactly what the federal government is supposed to have and what should have, what type of authority, the states supposed to have the control of the land, not the federal government. And now executive order the last 50, 60, 70 years, but for sure the last 8 with this bastard really went out of control. He thinks like he's a little god and a king. Just because they got plenty paper and free ink can write whatever he wants. Doesn't mean that it's legal, doesn't mean that it's constitutional. The only thing that really means that since they have more power and violence on their side, they can enforce it. So people are afraid, and they will go along. That's it. So that's my point.
No,
go ahead.
Unfortunately, in California, Luca, they've been in court in litigation with the state of California for gold dredging. Now, gold dredging is a safe method of recovering valuables, gold, and other items out of the creeks and streams. In addition to that, they would leave a habitat for the fish to survive during the summer. So they came up with this thing about the smelt and all this other stuff, bureaucratic BS. But they're actually working for people like the Sierra Club and some of these other agenda-based companies in Berkeley. It's nuts. But unfortunately, the miners, they took a setback out there. They're going to appeal. I believe they're going to take it to the Supreme Court out there, and I hope they do. And the gold dredging in California, that's pretty much what started California on the map, is the gold.
Yes, yes. And tell me something about techniques. For example, when you go out, what is your main way that you prospect for gold? You go in dust panning, or you go in metal detectors, or any other ways? What is your way?
Well, obviously, the best method in the wet environment, you want to use what's called a sluice box. The gold pan you can use anywhere. You can use it wet. You can use it dry. Metal detectors, most of them have waterproof coils. You can use them in the desert or in the creek. So you have that. Out here in the desert, you want to use what's called a dry washer. They utilize air to sort, gravity sort the dirt out of the streams or creeks or what have you. So they use those methods. I have a machine, what's called a trommel, which is actually a large spinning drum, and it'll wash the material, it'll sort the material, and process the material all at one time. It'll do a full-size pickup truck in about 1 hour or less.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You know, I tried different ways, at least, you know, with other friends. But for me, really, because after all, I'm kind of, I don't do this as often, and I don't have enough time. I still, you know, have a lot of things I do for life. I'm not retired, but I like the metal detector. And people that, you know, you can go out there and find from $120, $150 to a decent one, $500-600. And I tell you, it's amazing after you start to find, especially the latest one, when you start to get a decent one for $700-800, you can really start to select. It's like almost you have another sensor, like you have an extra pair of ears, and you can start to get really connected to this machine. And I tell you, it's amazing. It's like almost like become like a bot. And depends on the sound, I can figure it out what it is. It's a piece of metal or just some lead or maybe something really sound interesting. And one time I tell you, there was a rock, okay? Normally, I see where it is quartz and there is little greenish. I know that there is something normally could be good, even my little inexperience. And I found this big rock and it started to be like kind of really beepy, and then I got my little hammer, started to break it down. It took me like 1 hour, okay, to do, and it still was going down. At the end, it paid off. Was a little, probably, I don't know, almost an ounce though. It was beautiful. I was, I hope nobody's listening.
You know, there's nothing like that, Luca. You know, I've been, like I said, I was fortunate to go to Australia, and they taught me more in 5 minutes because that's what they do for a living out there. They're in the outback.
Yes.
They're detecting. That's what they do to make money. And they showed me how to use my detector in 5 minutes. You know, I read the book, I read the manual, but when you connect with people that they know the machine, they know the technology, and they just go zip, zap, 1, 2, 3, this is what you do. Yes. And within an hour, I was finding nuggets.
Listen, don't get me wrong. It's also little, it is not exactly risk-free, okay? Because, especially here, everywhere, after all, you are in the wilderness. You have to watch your back. There are different little dangers, and you can tell me maybe some I forget, but one thing for sure, summertime, here in Mojave County, we got the Mojave Green and different rattlesnakes that they're paying the butt. That's a fact. That's why normally I like more the winter, not only for the better weather conditions, but also because normally snakes, they go to sleep. That's number one. And one time I got chased almost by freaking Mojave Green. Thank God I had, normally I always carry my 357 loaded with the first 2 rounds with snake shots, okay? And I tell you, to shoot at the Mojave Green that is attacking you is not exactly fun, okay? I mean, so...
You know, you bring up a good point, Luca. A couple things out there. Every time I used to come to Arizona, I go to Quartzsite, I go up and down the river detecting, I go out to Gold Basin and stuff. And you also have the meteorites out there, so all you need is a magnet to poke around and find stuff. But you need to be aware of the rattlesnake, the Mojave Green, and a friend of mine told me the Mojave Greens, they love to hunt at night.
Yes.
When it's warm.
Yes, you're right.
So you could be poking around, you know, campfire, you're having fun and all this. You go take a walk, they're still out there.
Oh, yeah.
And the scorpions, and especially, you know, the mine shafts. I want to warn people about the mine shafts. They're no joke. If you're with an expert, then, you know, you're at your own risk. If you're on your own, don't go in, stay out, stay alive.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many close calls. It's a death trap.
I agree. And also always have somebody to back you up because you may break a leg, something may happen. In many areas there is no cell phone. I mean, this is not exactly like a little collecting butterflies, okay? especially here in the wild areas, you have to worry about many things. Summertime, we can go easily 130 degrees, okay? Then you have to worry about overheating. Then you got to worry about, of course, the wild animals like scorpions. And then you got, of course, the snake. Now I got a freaking scorpion in the office. Great. 1 second only. I'm talking about scorpion.
And you have to worry about the coyotes. I've been out towards Death Valley and stuff looking at mines, and nice. You have the rabid coyote.
Yes.
They come up from, I'm not kidding. And I've been out there with people, in the morning you're having coffee with them. The next day, the guy's dead. It's like, what do you mean he's dead? He goes up the road. He's going to go up the hill and take pictures like they do out of Phoenix. If there's a hill out in Phoenix, they go out hiking and leave the car. It's 110.
Yeah.
20, 30, 40 minutes, the guy dies.
Yes, no, it is very true. And it's very dry, so we don't feel it. Also, why I'm fighting with the cricket, just to let you know. They don't feel it, but since it's so dry, you dehydrate it no matter what. So it's something you really got to watch it. Another thing also, we have mountain lions too. Especially in some areas of the mountains. Like, for example, I like to go in the Black Mountains here in Golden Valley, close to the Canyon Pass. And I'm telling you, I saw a couple of mountain lions, like probably 100 yards from me, and that I was lucky because I was able to spot them. Many times you don't hear them, you just feel them when on your back.
You know what? You mentioned that you sense that something or someone's there, and it's like, I feel this energy that something is around here.
Yeah.
And go with your instinct. Something's telling you, hey, look around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What is normally your gear, especially when it comes down to personal protection, self-defense that you carry when you go in situations like that? Let's say you go out for a day or two prospecting. Normally, what do you carry with you?
Luke, I've been in every situation, and I've been out in the desert, and you're in the middle of the desert. You think nobody's ever been there. Nobody's here. And all of a sudden, you have somebody pop up out of the creek or something. You might have you're out 20 miles from town, and all of a sudden you have somebody that's cooking meth in the middle of the desert. You don't know. Mm-hmm. I always bring a sidearm. I always bring a long rifle with a scope.
Yes, I agree with you. I mean, as I said, you may find like-minded people doing the same job you're doing, or you may find some creep that's the perfect spot where they can steal everything you have and then, leave you maybe 6 feet under. So it's very, very touchy, and
if you've been shot at before, or you've had a gun pointed at you at close range, you bring everything and you're prepared to look out for yourself and anyone around you.
Yeah. Normally, what I like to bring with me, I always go into semi-automatic handguns. I just upgrade a little bit because if I am, let's say, for example, in areas where I know mountain lions are around, rather than the 9, normally I go at least 40, or I may go 45 with different type of ammunitions. And rifle, it's always something that I have. Of course, normally, if I am on foot, I cannot carry the whole freaking armamentary that I would like to carry. But I tell you, I try to always consider one thing I really like very much. Of course, the rifle is number one. That's why I like, for example, the Don't Tread on Us rifle because it's very light and I can carry enough ammo. And I know that at 300 yards with iron sight, I can get whatever I want. I can get 200 yards. I can get headshots with that. But I tell you, normally, sometimes in some situations, I like very much also my shotgun. Of course, has some limitations because you don't have the range you have with a rifle. But when it comes down to snake season or, things like that, or even, mountain lions season, I mean, the shotgun with slugs, or I can go straight to bird shots in case I need to go snakes. It's a very, very good tool because you can take care of different situations. I mean, if you have a mountain lion, it can be like a huge beast. And I tell you, yes, you're going to freak him out even with a 5.56, but if he's really after you, he's not going to fall down after the first 2 rounds unless you really get him in vital spots. But if you get a mountain lion with back shots or slug, he's going to knock down. That's the fact.
Half the time you won't see them, but you'll sense them. You're going, if you're up in the mountains, you're at 7,000 feet, there's no one around. And I tell everybody, 911, I take 2 cell phones out and a CB radio, but you know what? Mm-hmm. I've called 911 before in the city, and 9-10 minutes, and the police station's 2 miles away.
Yeah.
You do not. After that, you do not wait. There is nobody coming for you. You're it.
Yeah, and that's why I always say.
And when you're in this,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. So you need to be prepared for anything and everything.
Exactly, and that's why I say whoever out there has the time, the energy, and also a little bit the courage. As I said, this is not for everybody. To go out, invest. Not just your time, also your money. You go out, you take your little tools, you buy your stuff, your equipment and everything, your gas, your time. Time is money. And also risk a little bit of your life. This is not exactly a 9-to-5 job at the bank, for God's sake, okay? I mean, you may go out there 2 days, a week, and you come back with nothing. And maybe you can come back maybe with some, broken a leg or maybe, I don't know, beaten by some animal. At the end of the day, whatever you make out of that, you deserve it all. All. Not a part. Okay? Nobody was there helping you out. The government didn't do crap for you, and nobody else out there. That's why I said, I'm tired to think, people always say, we create jobs. Whatever you do, you create your own freedom, your own wealth. And then as an indirect result of that, you create, wealth for everybody. But that's not the main goal. The main goal that you take care of yourself. The main goal that you're trying to do something right, taking care of yourself. And if you make it, you deserve it all. That's why I say I have a lot of respect for miners out there, you guys. Because, you really are the typical example of what America used to be. Independent, no waiting for any type of, free stuff. You go out, you risk it in every way, also physically, not just your time. Seriously, I know a lot of people that got really big damages, even being, probably stuck under big rocks and things like that. So it's a very dangerous business. And I tell you, you must be a special type of human being. And, I'm always happy when I see my friends or some of these guys, they hit good, they have a good week or maybe a good day. I say, good for you. I'm really proud that you do it. And I hope and pray that you keep it all for yourself and nobody needs to know. That's my prayer. Call me whatever.
No, I'm with you. They're fighting, back in the old days, they were fighting the elements. Now the modern prospector is fighting the elements and he's fighting the government too.
Exactly. Listen, normally wood is a good area that, without giving much, I know that, they're kind of very sensitive information, but wood is normally a good area in what kind that you like to hit, without getting into details.
Yeah, no problem, Luca. The number one thing I do is research. The best sources are the local clubs, the library, and museums. Mm-hmm. Museums are a gold mine. You go in there, you spend $3-5, you walk around, and believe me, those people know more about what's going on around here or the history, and you're going to learn from that more than anything. All the hard work of the miners going back to the 1800s. They walked around here with all the donkeys and the horses and digging and panning for days and weeks out in the sticks. Mm-hmm. They did all the hard work. And when you start seeing a pattern of gold mine here, gold mine there, gold found here, gold found there, and when you start seeing gold claims or marker posts, the white posts, you're on a spot.
Mm-hmm. All right. Listen, I want to remind everybody out there, because, I don't want to sound like somebody, oh my gosh, you must hate the government. You don't want them to control our land. No, wait a second. I am here as an American, as a naturalized American, and I took an oath to not only defend, but also to learn this Constitution. And if the reason is really serious what we're doing, we should pretty much comply with the Constitution as the supreme law of the land. Now, let me remind everybody out there, probably many of you guys, you are born here, you are more educated than I am, after all, I even didn't go to school. But according to our United States Constitution, okay, that is the supreme law of the land, believe it or not, that's what it is. No treaty, no other garbage, United Nations, Agenda 21, they all can go to hell, okay? Where is found in the Constitution that where exactly the federal government, how can he own the land? What type of land can he own? The answer is found in the Article 1, go read it, Section 8, Clause 17, okay? This is only place in the Constitution that gives power to Congress regarding administration or control of the land. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 states that Congress shall have power to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding the 10 miles square. That means Washington, D.C., district or criminal. That's where they should stay and have their jurisdiction, as made by session of particular states, and the acceptance of Congress become the seat of the government of the United States. So, what the federal government has authority is in 10 square miles in D.C. That's number one. Number one. All the BLM, the EPA, the CCC, the ATF, that's the little place of the playground they can find. Okay, number one. But not out there. Then, to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislator of the state in which the same shall be for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings. So let me repeat it again, even with my broken English. Erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings. Talking about buildings, forts, we're not talking about 81% of the United States of America land. That's what we are now. We have an out-of-control government that, like a vampire, suck all the blood out of us. And, they start always with a little bit of the foot between the door, and then they start to ram the door down, and they break the door down, and at that point you are completely on the ground, and they are feasting on you. That's where we are right now. This is the supreme law of the land. This is the Constitution. Now, all these puppets, all these little clowns in uniform, going around on public land, that's supposed to be our land. The only people supposed to in control supposed to be we, the people of the county, and we, the people of the state. Okay, unless we are, of course, as it says, in some fort or some, let's say, federal building, that's another story. So I'm sorry, I don't want to sound harsh. I have no problem. I have also some people that I know that used to work for the BLM. They're decent human beings, as I said, but I'm sorry, guys. There are many ways to make a living out there. I know they pay pretty well. You got great benefits, and compared to the private sector, you're really living a great life. But still, that's not the right way. I feel sorry for you because you're going to work for the devil. That's what I really believe. Now, our time is going fast, by the way. I know you got this beautiful, I'm so excited, by the way, you got the trust to go to Havasu Guns and get the Don't Tread on Us rifle. When did you get it? Last week?
I got it this week. Tuesday after the holiday here. I was down in Havasu, and I said, I've heard of this gun store from you, and I said, I go in, and 15 minutes, these guys showed me what's the luca-zanna deal, the freedom rifle, and I said, I take it.
Great.
I take it right now.
And let me remind everybody of that, because this is exactly the way free market works. We do not force, we do not make legislation to make you buy things against your will. No. Our job as a free market, let's say, creators, that's what I like to be. I'm a creative mind. I create ideas. I create products out of an idea. I wanted to give an opportunity to every law-abiding American, man, woman, or between, I don't care. Or like that, you're a law-abiding person, you have no felony, you can get a rifle legally. To have an affordable, probably the most affordable, military-grade AR-15 in the M4 configuration, chambered in the 223 Wild, that just to let you know, it's beautiful because you can shoot 5.56 NATO and also 223 Remington, but also you can shoot heavier bullets, even 75 grains, with a great stability, because you have a twist ratio of your barrel that permits you to have that. So you have an incredible rifle for just $499. Technically, you buy two parts, a lower, they don't trade on us lower, and the upper, the upper, they don't trade on us upper, as I said, that, by the way, comes with a laser engraved, don't trade on us, American flag by Zanna. And it comes also with a free rear sight. It's a flat top, so you can remove it, you can put a scope, whatever you want. And then, of course, you get the lower. That is not mine. It's a company that I selected. I think they have an incredible product, and it's so strong. It's called the Plum Crazy Generation 2. And by the way, did you have a chance to go on the website, freedomrifle.com, and watch the videos about testing the rifle?
Yeah. Yes, I have, Luca. I was watching those this afternoon, and, I can't wait to get out to the range, but it's so simple, the assembly. I can't believe it. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a mechanic guy, but they told me at Havasu Guns, 2 minutes, do this, do that. They walked me through everything. I took it home. I put it together in a minute. Unbelievable.
It's just a pin. It's just 2 pins. And more important, you have a rifle that you have lifetime warranty on the lower. That's amazing. And you can watch videos on freedomrifle.com about, there is at least, I think 10,000 pounds Humvee. It's on the asphalt, not tricks. It is not on the grass, not on the mud, on the desert. It's on the dirt, hard asphalt, very hot, summertime. We put a strip lower of Plum Crazy Generation 2 on the asphalt, and we run it over twice with this huge Humvee. Normally, any other lower made of aluminum would crack or bend and would be not more operable. We also did the serial number because we wanted to show there is no dirty tricks, anything. That's the real lower, no even a scratch. And most beautiful then, one day, everything breaks down, everything mechanical can have problems. Guess what? You have lifetime warranty. I don't even know for that price, for $499. By the way, did they give you also the T-shirt, the Constitution, and the little certificate?
Yeah, thank you very much for that package, Luca. I want to commend you on that. And, it's great to fight for our liberty. And, I have it right here. It's displayed proudly in my home office. And thank you for that.
And thank you for supporting, because as I said, this is the way we support ourselves and our ideas, and also this show. This show, it's an act of love, as I said. But one thing I learned immediately, if I wanted to keep this show free, that every one of us, not just me, also my guests, because, I have guests that may disagree, okay? But I'm never going to tell them what they can say or what they cannot say. They have complete freedom of speech. Of course, I have language that we need to comply with the FCC. After all, this is still a regulated broadcast station. But beside that, you can say whatever you want. But sometimes, in many commercial stations, I tell you, it's difficult. So even the show, of course, is syndicated. I don't work for the station. But to keep this format, I needed to create my own revenues to support the show. So that's why I said, whenever you go out there, guys, and you get this incredible deal with the Freedom Rifle, or you can go to freedomrifle.com, or you can even get a bag of my coffee, zannacoffee.com, or even you just download any of my songs for 99 cents, you allow the show to be free. And more important, for freedom of speech to stay free. That's what it's about here. And that's why I want to thank you very much. Even, of course, there is not much money there. It's a little profit, but guess what? I'm proud that we have another law-abiding American armed with a great rifle. And also, by the way, I want to tell you, I do an extra service that I don't even think Remington Bushmaster does. Every Sunday, or at least every Sunday I'm around here in Mojave County, I want to invite all my friends, brothers and sisters who bought the Freedom Rifle, or maybe who want to try the Freedom Rifle. Think how good I am. At the range, together, and we can shoot together, and we can learn from each other, and we can go through some basic things, and then we can go through some advanced things. And by the way, I'm sure you're familiar. You went to the little certificate that you get. There is a little password with a link that you can download. Also, I upload every week or every other week, let's say, part of the ebooks, how to become a rifleman. Did you check it out, that?
Not yet, Luca, but I'll definitely do that.
Perfect.
And I think it's great what you have on there. You're informing people, but at the same time, you're educating and you're training them. That's very important when it comes to weapons, on how to protect yourself and your family and your loved ones.
Very good. Listen, I want to give you the floor. Right? We have to go. This is almost the end of final hour of today's show. And I tell you, time went so fast. I didn't know we were going to do almost 1 hour, but it was beautiful and it was natural. And even never met you, I feel like, as I said, we always knew each other. That's what I like about this show. I'm meeting people that probably with you it's different. You live next door. I have people from around the world that I'm connecting, and I find these the most priceless things that I really enjoy, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. I give you the floor. Whatever you want to say about any topic, about anything you want to say, you got the microphone. Go ahead.
I want to say to everyone out there listening, these are interesting times. These are dangerous times. You need to stay vigilant. Years ago, I listened to friends, the NRA lifetime guy, and he's telling me, get guns and this and that. No, this is no joke. When you're out in the middle of the forest, you're minding your own business. You're a law-abiding citizen. You're on your own property. you're trying to prospect for gold for fun or to make a living. And then you, all of a sudden, you have the government official showing up with a badge, questioning you and looking at your car and give me your license and do you have weapons? None of these things, I'm telling you, these are, you know, you look at what they did up in Oregon to those poor farmers. Yeah, they shouldn't have taken over that little compound or whatever, but they were doing it to make a statement. And the government is out of control, my friend. And the other thing, you need to prepare. Ammo, food, supplies, emergency supplies. And you need to not only look out for yourself, your loved ones, and your neighbors. You know, I'm a single guy. I have 400 pounds of food and, you know, thousands of rounds of ammunition. I'm not a gun nut. I'm not a criminal. And I love this country, but I don't agree with the government and the way it's going.
Speaking
but
about,
you need to be prepared.
Scottie, before you go, I want to remind something. You know, another thing I created out of an act of love. Believe it or not, people think, wow, you do all this stuff. Yeah, I really believe this is important. I don't know if you ever went to freedomlovers.us. Out there, even if you are not single, this is not just to date. This is also to connect and network with like-minded people. It is 100% free. Not even the credit card we ask you. We don't want to know even know your name. And go to freedomlovers.us. You can create a profile, upload videos, photos, whatever you are, and connect with like-minded people. Don't get me wrong. There are also the Nigerian scam out there, okay? I always see these people that whatever. It's everything. We don't control, you know, unless somebody really do it, we don't edit. But there is also a lot of great people. And normally, people that I know that they are becoming, you know, part of the freedomlovers.us. They are people like us, you know, we like freedom, we like to be independent, we like guns, and they are also not just American people, they are also from other states. So you never know. Maybe you may find a lady like-minded like you. So I invite you and everybody out there who wants to have an opportunity to connect. And also when you join and you see that this really can be a great tool, I mean, after all, I'm putting some money from my music business into this as an act of love. I reinvest it. I rather to do that than pay taxes, okay? Seriously. And because I really believe in investing in freedom. I'm playing by the stupid rules, you know, I rather to say, let's do that. But I want you to use it. Please go out there, guys. Go to freedomlovers.us and give it a chance. It's 100% free. And when you see that really it's free and really can be good, help me out. Share it. And hopefully, and if you find a great friend or networking or experience, send me an email. I'd like to know from you, okay? www.freedomlovers.us. That's pretty much it.
Excellent.
All right, listen, I think we got to go now. You know, I really appreciate you. I'm going to play a little song, and at that point, I'm going to leave my listeners this Sunday with this few last message. Seriously, guys, we are living, as you said, in very interesting times. I don't want to call it dangerous, because everything's dangerous. But I tell you, I don't think we ever been so close to what we are facing right now, ever in the history of this country. It is beyond politics. This is beyond differences of opinion. This is about something that we haven't really seen before. We've been talking about these things for many years, but you can start to smell when the smell of death and pain, you can smell it. It's coming close. We know, after all, we're still animals, and we have this instinct of survival. And I really believe now, like never before, this show is going to be played exactly in September 11th, or by the 9/11, 2016. And by the way, we are recording now. I don't know what's going to happen in a few days. I don't know what's going to happen in a few weeks. But I really have all the senses that are telling me to be prepared for the worst. That's all I can say. And I always say, I hope to be wrong. And that's good. If we are wrong in these things, we should be happy. I don't want to be right. But meanwhile, we got to do our best. God's willing, we will talk next Sunday. And as I said, please, if you want to support the show, you can go to www.zanna.us. With just 99 cents, you can download any of my songs. And I'll play for you right now one of my songs. I hope you can enjoy it. And I'll talk to you next Sunday. Thank you, Scottie. Thank you very much. Let's be in touch, okay?
Thank you, Luca. Look forward to meeting you in person.
Very good. All right, guys.